Yeah, we're about to hit the 100 mark here pretty quick. So, okay. So, like I said, I will. I like to be efficient on timing, so it is 3 minutes past. So I'd like to keep rolling. If you have teammates or other people that you know that are joining us and you want to send them a text message, cool, and tell them that we're starting, but there's still a little bit of room left, and we will get rolling.
Do you want to turn their cameras off?
I don't think it's gonna hurt us for now.
No, but now we won't be able to tell them they're talking because there's too many.
Really?
Well, because think about it. If this person starts talking and it's not on the screen.
Hey, Gabe, start talking once. Just start telling us something.
Once upon a time.
Okay, it changed.
No, but it works because of the fact that you were looking at it.
No, it changed screen.
Did it?
Yep.
There's like a green thing.
All right, Gabe, 1 second. Hey, hat guy, Steven, can you start talking?
Sure. Let me talk. Talk.
So it bumped him. Cool. Okay, good. That was a good test. So here we go. Let's rock and roll. So if you haven't changed your name yet on the screen, it's going to help us for some of the stuff that we need to chat about and talk about. And we're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. So one thing I would like to try and do is on the chat side of it, the group chat, if we can limit that right now, if we can stop with the group chat, because I'm going to have you guys putting some information in there that we're going to need for as we go along. So please just reserve the chat. Also, Corey, where it says Corey staff, Corey's going to be helping me do a lot of this too. So I might ask you to send her information. So if you find Corey chat, some of you will be able to send her some info. Try and just stay muted for now. If you've ever done this meeting before, at the end of normally at the end of every season, I do a meeting like this in person. So we're going to do that meeting, but this meeting's a little different because there's still me trying to make the playoffs happen. So there's going to be just a whole extra layer of conversation. So yes, this meeting will be long. If you do have to leave or go to the bathroom, please do so. But yeah, this meeting normally is long, and it will definitely be long. There'll be plenty of opportunities for you guys to speak up and say something if you want. If I ever kind of curb the conversation to the side for a moment, it's only because I have a plan of when we're going to talk about stuff. But if you have questions, please, what I'd like you to do is you all have little icons that you can click on your Zoom, like a little thumbs up. What I'd like is if you have something you'd like to say, like a question kind of thing, give me the little thumbs up icon so that I know that that is something you like. So you can see right now on my screen, there's a little thumbs up. You can all do that. If there's something you would like to say, please give me your little thumbs up, and then I will try and get to you. So I see lots of thumbs up right now, just you guys wanting to speak. And then just for efficiency, so this tends to happen while we're going along today, just to try and keep it efficient, and because we're at 100 people and there's some people who aren't going to be able to get in here in a moment, I want to try and keep the conversation flowing. So if you guys have points that you want to make that are just kind of reconfirming things that we're talking about, we're going to try and limit the reconfirming conversation. We're going to just try and keep progressing, keep talking and adding things. But there's going to be a lot of info that you guys can give that can help us with perspective, things that we can learn. So everyone's school experience is different. Your team, your coach, your everything, everyone's school is different. So there are plenty of things that you can give that can help us as a whole. Okay, so going down the line. Oh, look at that. We crossed so many things off the list already. I'm also recording this. I think there's some kind of weird legal obligation that I'm supposed to tell you that we're recording it. So I want it to be recorded so that anyone that wants to watch this after the fact can, if they can't get into the meeting for whatever reason. Okay, so first, just a couple of comments for seniors. I'm going to talk about some senior stuff now and then senior stuff at the end. Seniors, you are about to go through quite a transition. Typically, senior year, going into college freshman year, or whatever it is you're going to do after high school here, is typically such a big transformation and such a change for you life-wise that it either it works for anything that you want to do in the improv world, whether you want to stick with the league in some way, coaching or whatever, or if you want to keep doing improv moving on and moving forward, life, it could work for you or it could not. So I want to help you with all of those things the best way that I can. So there might be some of you that are interested in coaching, and that's fine. If you are interested in coaching, and even if I've spoken to you like this week, there's a couple of you I've had conversations with. If you are a senior interested in coaching with the league, even if you've got time issues, allow me to speak with you about it. But what I would like you to do is please send Corey's staff a message with your name and email. So name and email address for anyone that is interested in coaching. She's going to try and gather that as best as she can, but name and email for coaching. Now, if you are a senior and maybe you don't know if you want to coach, but you want to just kind of stay doing improv, that's fine. Almost every college has some sort of improv outlet. It is going to be very different. It's going to be very different than what you experience with Jesters. There's really not anything like Jesters out there. But that doesn't mean that it can't be completely awesome. I think some of the coolest things I ever did was college improv and the amount of things I was able to create. So I can help you, a few of you, with depending on what way you want to go. If you are going to UNLV and you want to do a little bit of college improv, I would like you to send me a message to give Corey a chance to connect. So send Kopi a private message with your name and email address, but please put LVA. So name, email address, or excuse me, LVA. I just saw LVA. Put UNLV, please. So put UNLV, name, email, and send it to me privately so that I can collect that list. And I will reach out to you and give you some info for what you can do if you want to do some improv. So name, email, UNLV. Now, if do I have UNR people going to Reno? Any seniors?
I would just talk about it
Thumbs
in
up,
general.
maybe. Yep. So some cool things is UNR is crossing over, and UNR Reno is going to do some improv as well. So for almost, 20 years now, I've been helping facilitate UNLV improv, and now UNR is finally going to be able to do that this year. So I'd also like you to send me a message if you're going to UNR and put UNR, your name, and email. So send me a private message and I will go through the chat and collect all that info. So UNR, name, and email. And if anyone is going to Dixie State in St. George, Utah. So St. George, of course, where all of our friends from Tuacahn are. If anyone's going to Dixie, which there are, we are going to help facilitate improv at Dixie as well. So there's definitely a handful over at Dixie now, but if you could also send me a message. So say Dixie, name, email. So UNLV, UNR, Dixie, please put the school, put your email, and put your name, please. Cool. I will try and give that announcement again, just in case there is someone that's late or someone that missed that information. But anyone who wants to coach next year, send Corey a message. So Corey staff, private message with your name and email. And anyone that wants to go to UNL, or anyone that is going to UNLV, UNR, or Dixie that wants to do some improv, please send me a private message saying UNLV, UNR, or Dixie, name and email. Cool. Those of you that are not going to any of those three things, but you still want to continue in the improv world, if you want to reach out to me and just simply ask me, so if you're randomly going to Colorado, New York, whatever, please, you can. So my name there is my email address. So you can copy and paste my email address, or those of you that, take 10 business cards every time you come to a Jester show, my email's on there too. Like Matt Davis from Las Vegas High School, that's just what you do. So if you send me an email, I will help you make some sort of connections going forward. Or anyone's that say like going to CSN here in town, I mean, just send me an email. Send me an email and I will help you out. Okay, so that is a little bit of senior talk. We'll do some more senior talk a little bit later. But this is also important, and I need to get it right up front. Anyone that is in charge of their team Instagram, so I'm just looking at Christian right now because he's on my front screen, but if you are in charge of your team Instagram, what I need is not only do I need to, especially if you're a senior, pass it down to somebody, but what I would like you to do right now, this moment, is get your username and password and give it to your coach, please. So send it on Remind, send it through email, but whoever is running your Instagram, please, if you could right now, can you give that information to your coach? Thank you. And they might be confused if they're not in this meeting why they're getting it, but it's just another way to help them make sure transition's over. So for example, Valley Improv has 0 access to their Instagram because this kind of thing was not done. So we cannot figure out how to get Valley on Instagram without creating a whole new thing. So please, 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 this is a big deal. Please give Instagram login and password to your coach. Also, if you are not in Remind for some weird reason, and you got to this meeting through Instagram or Facebook, please join your team Reminds. Jordan Sagers from SECTA, I will constantly keep calling you out. Join your team Reminds. You can do that all right now too. So let's have this be cleanup. Now, obviously, if you're seniors and you haven't joined your Reminds, you don't necessarily need to be in your Reminds if you don't want to. But if we can get some playoff stuff done this summer, then you might want to be in your Reminds. Okay, so the reason probably why everyone has joined in here is probably playoffs. So let's start talking. If you don't know, are you good?
To share?
What?
To share the screen?
Not yet. So if you don't know me like that well, like if you're not one of my 4 years or we just don't know each other that well yet, I have a weirdly positive outlook on most anything. So to where most people will be scared that the sky is falling, I will typically say, well, the sky fell, how do we fix it? So that's normally my perspective on anything. So that has kind of been my position since all of this happened. I mean, we're well over 2 months on the quarantine thing, and bless you, Sasha. Bless you again, Sasha. Mm-hmm. So that has been my position since this started is, okay, great, the world's closing. When is it going to reopen so I can do this? So I have stayed pretty up to speed. I've got a handful of feelers out there trying to figure out any windows that I can do things. I do have a couple of plans that I want to show you. But I mean, there's still the reality. I still understand that there's just a chance that I can't do this. But I think if anyone could pull this off, it would be me. I am persistent and annoying, and I'm glad that all 32 of you schools are here and a part of this right now, but there are a few schools that still think I'm too annoying, and they might not be here for that reason. So I will try my darndest to make this happen, and I want to show you kind of what my thoughts and plans are to why I think it's even a possibility. So yes, could we show the first plan? So Corey's going to show you right now a tentative plan of what I'm pitching. So the screen is going to change, and you're going to look at a kind of a grid. And whenever you're ready, go ahead.
I got it. Give me a second.
So this is what I would like to do if I have my complete way of doing these playoffs. 32 schools, that's lots of shows, that's lots of things that have to happen. And if you account, I don't know, championship day and all the other fun stuff that we do, there's a lot there. But if you can see here, this kind of grid, if you see on the left side of it, it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. This is a version to where we can do an entire playoffs in 1 week. So it's not condensing the playoffs, it's condensing the time. So it normally takes us a solid month to get through a playoffs with the way we do it with school, but right now we don't have to compete with school schedules. we could essentially do it all in 1 week. So you see on Monday and Tuesday, the entire first round can be done on Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, the 16 teams that advanced could all run on Wednesday. Thursday would be the final 8 and 4, and then we'll take a breather day and have championship day on that Saturday. This is the plan that I'm pushing for, and I feel like if there's an opportunity to make this happen, awesome. We just have to cross it over. We can take this screen down. I thought good news going into today too is the governor is talking phase 2, and on Tuesday he wants to talk phase 2 of reopening. That's also a good sign for us. Because CCSD has put it on all of the high schools to handle their own graduations, that also is a good sign for us, because it seems like the schools are handling that in different ways. I just need to find an opening, and that's what I'm looking for. So wherever I can find an opening, I'm going to try and put this in. And if we do it in June, heck, I'm not that opposed to doing it in July. But we're trying to cross into that. If we all got to wear masks, and that's the only, like, you can't do the playoffs unless you wear a mask, I don't know if any of us would complain all that much. I'm sure we'd all be in there with whatever fun little things, and with how creative you guys are and the neckties and all the things that you guys wear anyway, I don't feel like a mask would be that awful. So I'm going to try and pull off that first plan. Here's a contingency plan. If the world is looking at me saying, no, you can't do a week and all the people, here's my backup plan, which is better than nothing. My backup plan is that the backup plan? Well, yes, that is it. Oh, there we go. If they're only going to give us a day, we obviously can't do an entire playoff bracket in a day. But what we would do is, no matter what, we would do a coaches show, which typically is always an absolute blast. We would get an all-star show in there, which the all-star is probably the longest, most reputable thing that we've done. And it is a ton of fun. I want to let the all-stars have an opportunity to get up there and do their thing. We, of course, need to present the actual winners of the awards. So you see the award presentation. And then I've got a fun idea that I really don't want to announce like this. I want to announce it in a different way if we can. You'll see there on the bottom of the awards where it says an honorary champion. It does the league no good to not have a trophy in a school. If I could fast forward 32 years and give everyone a trophy, that helps the league grow. So I will award a champion this year if we have to do with the contingency plan. So there will be a trophy presented to a school, and I will explain it all if we have to get to that point. Just to help us transition for next year. And then I'll announce that last idea if we have to do it. So this is my backup plan. This is one day. This is me saying, district, come on, give me a day. And hopefully we can get to that day. Any questions on these two? Or do you want to take that screen down? Does anyone have a question that you'd like to throw out there? Yes, Vanessa from Clark, go ahead.
I was wondering if you were thinking that like this whole week-long plan would be at like just one school.
I am going to take whatever I can get. Could it be at one school? Sure. Would I have to pop around? Maybe. I could see a scenario maybe where one school says, yeah, we'll do a day Monday, but let's not do Tuesday because then we want to clean. We want to clean it and make sure it's sanitized again. So I could see that kind of scenario happening. But I've even thought of the idea of, well, let me do it. Let me do the manpower and whatnot behind it and be a part of that. But obviously we're not going to be doing this tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we have to wait for the phases and whatever, and we have to wait for the approval and whatever. The district, here's what I will say is that the school district, I think, has done an amazing job of communicating and being on top of things, and they are, bless you, Sasha, they are slightly behind. They're just only a couple of days behind anything that the governor rolls out at the worst. So I think they've done a good job, but what I also think is that they are being just as cautious So the phase 2 thing is great news. Hopefully the numbers stay what they're doing, and hopefully we can find an opportunity. Because at some point we're all going to have to. I mean, the teachers and everyone's going to have to be able to go back into the school. So we're hoping that it can happen in the right capacity. Does anyone else have questions on these 2 plans for now?
Hey, Kopi, I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So right now, at least, the current requirements for restaurants reopening and such is a limited capacity of people in the building.
Yep.
So would it be considered to maybe just not have an audience for the playoffs? Because I feel like that would be much more possible.
I've thought of that too. I mean,
yeah.
if we got a stream it kind of thing, cool.
Mhm.
I mean, if you think about it, there's only 8 performers in the show.
Exactly.
Like me, Roman, and Josh can make sure we're all masked up and gloved, because we would be the ones to cross the 10 mark. But we don't need me, Roman, and Josh up there. You know, we can just be one of us, and technically I am a judge for the playoffs. So I mean, Roman knows what he's doing. Roman can be up there for most of it, and I can be down if need be. But yeah, Dylan, 100%. I've thought of that as well. So I actually, and just a funny thought,
Gotcha.
my dad is one of those handyman kind of guys, and he's making me a shield. like he's hand making me a full shield, because I've got so much stuff I got to do. I can't just stop. I mean, coaching stuff for the summer, I got to teach coaching classes and stuff, so I got to be able to speak. So yeah, I'm trying to prepare.
Gotcha. Well, cool. Thanks, Kopi.
Any other questions? You need to jump in like he did, or give me the thumbs up kind of thing. Okay.
Wait, no, I have one. I had the thumbs up.
Alexander?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So, would there be a way to, so if we had to condense it all into one day, could we still manage to do schools against schools if we had if we were at different locations for the first half of the day, and it was you judging one set of schools and Josh and Roman doing 2 other sets?
For one, well, no, because the 1 day thing is going to be if they allow us into one spot. So I mean, you would be assuming that multiple schools will allow us into the one spot. We're trying to find a school or a principal that says, yep, okay, this is the requirements, cool, go for it. So there might be someone somewhere that will give us that blessing, and I'm hoping that we can get it for a week. That's what I'm shooting for. The 1 day thing is not something I want to do, but I do think if there is 1 day that we can have, it's Championship Day. Those of you that have never been a part of Championship Day before, it is the best advertisement that I could ever have or want or need or do. It is such a beautiful day to be a part of. And heck, we all need a day like Championship Day right now in our lives. So worst case, I will push for Championship Day. Now, and maybe not worst case, if no one else has any other questions on it.
I do, bro.
Okay, go ahead. You're fine.
So are we gonna exclude some games because it includes touching or hugging each other? Are we gonna exclude those games?
I mean, we can talk about it. I mean, even if it's a game, if we want to think really about the games that we play, like a radio kind of game where you're standing next to each other, we can just spread out. So I mean, that part's not too bad. If I think of a Six Things kind of game, that game tends to be kind of chaotic and wild. I mean, we can try and space that out a little bit better too. I mean, we can, if there is a game where we just know maybe we shouldn't do it, then we can just make that choice. Good question though. I mean, yeah, that is something to think about. I mean, I can't think of one off the top of my head where it's just we just shouldn't do that one because of it. But I mean, we can be up there with masks and all that stuff too. So I mean, whatever safety precautions we want to make. Here's the reality: is that even if, let's say that we get to phase 4, the district opens, and there's yeah, sure, do it. I mean, some of you just might not be comfortable doing it, and some of your parents might not let you. I mean, that's just reality. So even if there's a thought in our heads of, this team's really strong, they could win the championship, we just have no idea what it will look like. And I am willing to just get out there and do it because A, we've all put in a whole year's worth of work. Why not finish it out and have fun? B, it is fun. C, there's just so much to gain from doing this. There's so much that we can all gain on so many different levels. And this might sound brutal, but 31 teams would lose in the playoffs, and there's so much to gain from that. Those of you that have been in the league before and have lost in a playoff show, I mean, yeah, there's tears from losing, but what we gain from those things is just, it's such a strong thing. It's such a beautiful thing. So yeah, I want to make it happen whatever way I can. Okay, any other questions on the two plans?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So if no schools allow us to do it inside, would there be a possibility of maybe renting out an outdoors auditorium or something like that?
You know what? Yesterday was the first time someone planted that seed in my head, and then I went, huh. Well, I do have one caution, or one cautious thought about that idea. Yeah, we could rent something, or we could do the tent thing, or heck, we could brave and weather the heat and just go for it, you know? We could give all of those things a shot. My somewhat worry is if Kopi and or the high school jesters go rogue and don't get on CC, like don't do this on CCSD property, like is Kopi like I feel like the league could definitely fall under some weird scrutiny where it's just like, well, wait a minute, the high school league is not listening to the world and they're being bad, and let's not. So that caution really does exist in my brain. I would not be against your idea, Faith, if the world is like in phase 4 and like if there are some thumbs up in most of the world, and maybe there's just some weird technicality that's not allowing us to do it, I will definitely power forward and figure it out. So yes, I would do that if necessary. And God, I hope we don't have to do it outside. Oh, I'll do it, but I do not want to do it outside. All shows will be water balloon shows. Everyone bring your water balloons. Any other questions on the two plans?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Happy birthday, by the way.
It's actually thank you. It's a question Lily wanted me to ask for her because her computer's being a little weird.
Okay.
Just wondering if there's a way to social distance the audience.
So your computer's a little choppy on that, but
do you have that in mind for?
Here, I think I know what you're asking, but at least what I'm receiving is a little choppy. So I think you're asking, can we social distance the audience? Is what you asked. And yeah, if you want to type it out, please, you can send me the message. Yeah, I mean, if there's an audience that's live, we can spread them out. If we can't have an audience, we can Skype it, Zoom it, whatever. Like we can stream it. Pretty much, hey, can we do this? My answer is probably going to be yes. Because I want to try and find a way to make this work as long as it's approved to work. So that's the goal. So any which way, I've never wanted to stream shows before, but obviously this is a unique situation, so let's do it. Like, let's figure it out. Does that kind of address it, Jacob? Okay, Lily messaged me. Cool. Okay, cool. Any other questions on the?
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. Well, it's like two questions. The first one was if like you said that like if like we did it, we might go rogue if like, you know, whatever you said. But it's like, what if we did it like on school grounds? But like we have big fields. What if we had to do it on a field or something like that? But like in school property.
Yeah, that would just fall into some weird technicality that we would have to evaluate. I mean, yes and no. I don't know. That would fall into some weird category. We would just have to wait and see. I know that some of the schools have talked about doing, say, like graduation out on the football field kind of thing. Like, I know that has been being presented. I don't know if anyone's heard those kind of things, but we'll see. I've heard as late as mid-June that some schools are trying to do graduation stuff. But the fact that schools are going to try and do some kind of graduation thing is a good sign for us. I know some of you probably have already, I don't know, done the drive-through parade in your parking lot kind of thing for any of you seniors, but some schools are trying to do other things other than that. So yeah, Althea, I'm whatever. I mean, whatever it takes.
And then for the other question, it was like, if like for your first day plan, we have like the times of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So like, what if like you could spread them out even just a bit more? So if like maybe like people, if you're like kids or something were in that show, they could stay, and then after then they would leave. And so there would be a time where like nobody was in the theater. So it would be more like you wouldn't come in contact with many people.
Yep, that's absolutely. I thought of the spacing of it too, just trying to give it a little bit of extra love. So we could absolutely do that too. So that wouldn't be too bad. It wouldn't be too hard. I saw a couple of our Althea you're good? Okay, Jezreel, go ahead.
We have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think if we like do the show on an open theater and the audience just will be in their cars, like a drive-through movie theater?
Let's go do it at the drive-through. Hey, if there was a way to pull that off, that's not a bad idea. I'm gonna write that down. Cool. Christian, Del Sol, go ahead.
Howdy. I don't know this. Well, this is a little unrelated. It's something we could believe. I know Warren. I think he. And I was just wondering. I don't know if you knew the whole plan I wrote out, but basically, I'm still down to have Del Sol host to do rap competition.
Yeah, he did. He talked to me about it. So here, because this is a good transition question actually for my next point. So did anyone have any other question about the plan? And before I answer his question,
I had a question.
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
the plan. Hi, Christian. What I was thinking, because teams would most likely be less likely to social distance. So somebody mentioned maybe not having an audience. But if we used one of the schools with a larger theater, you could, to keep an audience, clump schools together. So all the Del Sol kids sit in this area, and then 3 rows over, socially distanced, everyone in this area is from Green Valley.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily, because because we're all just people. It doesn't matter. Like Del Sol doesn't have the virus, and Green Valley doesn't. Like it's just how we spread out. Period. Is more of the concern, I think. So I mean, even just sitting on stage with the 4 chairs, like I'm probably gonna have to get over it and spread the chairs out. Like, have you ever seen me rearrange the chairs in the middle of the show? That's my little weird anal OCD-ness. I'm just gonna have to get over it, you know. But I mean, you're right. I mean, how to spread out? We can totally do it. Like I'm thinking of Clark's Theater. I mean, that's a pretty big theater, right? Be pretty easy to just spread out a couple of seats. So yeah, it just however we can do it, we'll figure it out. Anyone else on a question on the plan? Okay. Oh, Roman, is that a question?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
How many shows would we be doing a day on the week plan?
8.
Okay.
Thanks, Roman. Anyone else going once, going twice?
I have a question.
Yeah, Haley, go ahead.
So like, have we like heard anything from the schools, or like, are they talking to?
Yes and no. I've got a couple of different schools that are that are trying to just evaluate, but for the most part, because it's still kind of phase 1, every school is kind of in the same boat. So really, there is no this school is ahead of that school. We're all still in the same boat. So what I have observed that is different is that some schools are approaching the graduation plan differently, and just who is more strict than others, right? Because I guess if you think of it this way, why would a principal can just simply say, no, close it for the summer, who cares? Like, no exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. So, I mean, just someone could be that way, and that's fine, but I'm still going to try and figure it out. So I've been around long enough to where, I mean, people are going to at least respond to me somewhere. Someone's going to say something to me.
Are there any estimate of like the date, like kind of time frame that we'd be like, you want to do this in or something?
Well,
like
and this is might be the transition then, is not necessarily. I think, and seniors, I know for some of you, I mean, even maybe your fall might be a little in question, like anyone who's moving out of state kind of thing for college. But I mean, come August, I mean, we might just have to float this idea away. But I'm gonna know before then. I'm gonna definitely know before then if we need to just close the curtain on the idea. I don't want to. I'm gonna try and make it happen. But we'd have to. I mean, we got to plan into next year too. So we're gonna talk about the way the season went. We're gonna talk about next year in a second. We're gonna try and cover a lot of bases right now. But no, if we can do it in July, great. Like, I'm gonna try. So that I'm keeping hope alive. That's all. If we do need to close the curtain, and we can't do it, those of you that are nominated for awards, I will contact you directly, and I will set something up for you to give an actual presentation. I am very fearful of the thought of one of you moving away for college, and especially if you win the award and not being able to receive it, like physically receive it. And because all the award categories are 10 and under, I could figure out something to where I gather those 6 people for the awards, or the main stage casts. I would really like to get the 2 main stage casts. That's 10. So I will make sure that there's something there. There's still, of course, 2 more award. Well, the most improved performer award will be announced on Wednesday. All of the all-stars, of course, will be announced the week after, unless something drastically changes in our timeline. And then the Jack Elton Award still needs to be presented, but there are no nominees for that award. So yes, I will make sure that happens if this just cannot happen. Yeah, Alice, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, my face. It's not Alice, it's Martha.
Hi, Martha.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so for this is for next year. Like, it's completely different. I just wanted to put it out there just so you had it. So I was kind of saying, like, for next year, you know how like all the seniors didn't really get to play this year.
Okay.
I'm saying that I feel like for next year we should have a little thing for all the seniors so they can still be able to perform like one of their last shows.
I'm not too against it. But here's one problem, and I'll just throw this problem out there, is that the league for the past, I don't know, 3 years or so has had roughly 1,000 students, and this year, where's the number? I can't find the number, but only 380 actually performed in shows. Yeah. And it's not necessarily just because there's only so many spots to go around. It's, I mean, you know, being scared and intimidated and whatnot, that's all a big deal. So I would be scared about giving opportunities to everyone.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But you get it. Martha, I think, you know, if I can do it, I want to. Okay. Okay, here, let me transition for Christian's question. Because in the spirit of still making this happen, Christian posed an idea of doing some like online kind of contests and whatnot. He was thinking to do Rap, like an online to do Rap contest. And I'm not against one of you guys trying to head spear that or organize it. But one fear that I do have is if we do get this playoff thing happening, there's gonna be a lot of scrambling going on. So your coaches are going to become annoying, and they are going to annoy you, and they are going to have to reach out to you and figure out who can perform, who can get there. Hey, we haven't practiced in 2 months. So it's gonna get a little chaotic. And so that's been me being reluctant, because between, say, like the antivirus pageant we did, which was a ton of fun, between all the awards that are getting announced, I am already on the brink of annoying. Like, if I'm sure most of you have, like, at one point you went, oh, there's another thing from Jesters. So I am on the brink of annoying. I'm trying not to be too annoying. I really didn't want to do this meeting. Like, that's how almost annoying I am right now. But here's what I will encourage, and something I really do think is a good idea, is that if any of you do want to do extra practice time or haven't tried it or whatnot, I think if you do it in doses, small baby doses, it's effective and it can work. So what I mean is, don't get on a Zoom or on a Google Hangout with 10 of your teammates. Get on it with one teammate. Get on it with 2 max, and just conversate. Just speak to each other and just listen to each other and try and go from there. So keep it that simple. That is the hardest thing to do, is just to listen. And just to show you how hard, I was reviewing I wanted to see if I could present a video or something for you guys today, just a good example clip. So I was going through some videos of the MVP show from last year, and those of you that weren't a part of it, is 8 of our MVPs, students that won the MVP award, did a show for us last year. And I was watching one of the scenes where 2 of the MVPs just were not listening to each other. They just didn't hear anything the other was saying. Were they doing funny stuff? Cool, but they just weren't listening to what was going on. So that's how hard it is. So that is something you can actually do to help you come playoff time, because what is one of the categories is improv, is listening, and that's the easiest way for a score to go down, is listening. So I would encourage that, and you could do that if you've got 10 teammates, which most of you have got teammates. You can go round robin. You can spend an hour with one teammate. You can spend an hour with another teammate. You spend an hour with another teammate. You can put in plenty of time just listening to each other and whatnot. So that is what I 100% encourage. If any of you do want to do a contest kind of thing, please have at it. But I got to let you guys be in charge of it. Christian, if you want to do it, I want you to be the guy. You know what I mean? And have fun and do it with each other. So you have the online version of doing that. Any last questions from the playoff, online practicing, anything from that side before we kind of transition to the next point?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is it still going to be on, like, Saturdays?
What do you mean?
Like the shows?
Well, if we do maybe you came in late, but I can post.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So I did post a plan to where the first plan is the playoffs will be done in an entire week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Right? The second plan is one day, which, I could try for a Saturday, and if that's the day I'm allowed. And then, of course, the last plan would be if we can't do it. So, Marshall, I'm going to make a note right now. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the plans.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just so you can see it. And if anyone else also came in late, seniors going to UNLV, UNR, or Dixie State in St. George.
They can
you can either message me or Corey staff, and please give me school, name, email. So just, if you've already done it, you don't have to do it again. But school, name, email. And anyone that is interested in coaching next year, name and email, please send it to Corey staff. Okay. Any last questions on this stuff before I move on to the next? Faith from Arborview, did you cut your hair?
We came far to get you.
Oh my gosh, look at all these haircuts and fun things you guys are doing. Okay, so transitioning, if there are no other questions.
I actually have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So let's say none of the plans are accepted. Is there a chance we could do like a championship day, like on a Zoom meeting like this?
Yes, I have thought of it, and I'm not against that either. If those plans don't work out, I wouldn't mind doing something, because I do have to present the awards. Like, no matter what happens, the awards have to go out, and they will go out, and they will be presented. I would just really, really like to be in front of the nominees, and be able to speak about it. So and it's very possible that some of you that are in this meeting right now haven't like seen the award nominees or seen the videos on all the awards. Like the people that get honorable mentioned on these awards, like if you don't watch the video, you can't find out your honorable mention, right? So I would try and do something, Nathan, more than likely, knowing me, because I'm annoying, remember? Great question though. Any other questions?
I had another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I was just, because I was thinking about it. Let's say the schools are like, yes, you can do a championship day, but there can't be an audience. Performers only, and when they're not performing, they can't be in the room. Would there be, and I'm sure you're going to be against this idea, but like potentially putting a tech in a booth to have audience noises, like buttons, like laughing.
Why would I be against that? Yeah, I'm not. That would probably be fun. Like, look at all your faces that just started laughing at that. That doesn't sound awful. Yeah, look. Most of the time, I'm probably going to say yes to just about any question you might have. So yeah, that doesn't sound bad at all. Any other questions you might have? Okay. So here.
Wait,
go ahead. Trey, go ahead.
Ignore the beard I've been growing. Totally.
Yeah, I see that.
I was just curious. Well, if we did have like an audience or something, like would it be possible like to have it separate, like just by families, like have families be able to sit together, just like my parents, like they said, like they refuse like to sit apart from each other and things because they don't mind, but like
yeah, that's a different scenario. Yeah, if your mom and dad are there, you guys all live together, they can sit next to each other. But if your mom and dad are sitting next to my mom, and you know what I mean, like that's how we should spread out. And you know what? That's better clarification off of Speedy's comment from before. There's no reason to separate Del Sol and Green Valley, but if you are in a household with people, like if any of you got 5 brothers and sisters at home, like there's no reason why you 5 need to separate. So yeah, Christian.
What if all of Del Sol lives together? You don't know that Speedy's not in the other room.
You stop it right now. Okay. Let's keep going. If we're just missing questions, and if you want to write them down and ask me, if you want to email me, please do. If you send me the private chat on Zoom, chances are I won't be able to answer it because I'm paying attention to you guys, but maybe Corey can answer it for me because Corey's here with me. Okay, so we got to talk about the season a little bit, and we got to talk about some next year stuff and some important stuff. But let's talk about the season. Highest ever, and represent, or if this is exciting or not, but 76% of our league was female this year. That's the most highest percentage we've had. So only 24% on the male side. We had 126 different students get a all-star vote. That is also more than I've ever had, and we haven't even had the playoffs yet, which is such an astounding number to me, which is pretty darn cool. Now the All-Stars will be announced. Obviously, we're 2 weeks. Because of how cool the All-Star thing is, I wanted to make that last as well. And then remember, Most Improved will be this Wednesday. Games. So I am shocked by what I'm about to tell you, but the top 3 games that were played the most this year, 2 of them were also in the top 3 last year, which were 6 Things and Scenes from a Hat. The third game that is in the top 3 games that were played, coaches, my hat's off to all of you because we worked hard, and I never thought in a million years this would be one of them, but Sideline Debate was one of our top 3 games this year. There was 4 or 5 years ago where I went to the coaches and said, hey guys, sideline debate was played 3 times all season. What's wrong? So coaches, thank you. That's huge that our 2 top games are the 2 toughest games in sideline and 6 things. So good on you. I know that a lot of times you guys will ask for more team choice games, and this is a very good way of saying that you have opportunities to see games when you watch other shows. But 47 different team choice games were played all season this year so far. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, my team, we only play what and blind line, and that's it. That's all we play. Or Survivor. Yeah, everyone plays Survivor. So there are more games. There are a lot more games. So you can see it through other teams. You can see it online. You can get that. Your coaches will tell you, show you, whatever. But 47 team choice games, which is also more than last year. And we haven't even had the playoffs yet. So tons of cool growth for the season. One thing I do want to throw out here that I thought was helpful, and this will transition into some next year stuff, was coaching pairings. Some of you had multiple coaches at your school. I think that really helped the league out as a whole. I'm going to aim for that more. I do have a couple of holes I need to fill, I know, going into next year where coaches are moving around or whatever. But it's way less than last year. So what that means is most coaches are staying put where they're at. And I only got a few adjustments I need to make, but that also means that anyone that is interested in coaching, even if you're kind of on the fence about it and you want to maybe have a conversation with me, let's have a talk. But I could use all the help I can get. If you've got, like, for a really good example is Gio spoke to me the other day. He would like to coach, but he is concerned about, college and work and that kind of thing, which is a very, very normal, natural thing to be concerned about. So just talk to me. Let's have a conversation and just see. Who knows what it will look like, but please have that conversation and send us that message saying that you would be interested. One thing that also happened this year that I don't know if you kind of caught on or not is I pushed for our coaches to start planning on having more than just their best 4. Like, who's going to play in the playoffs? I was huge this past year on talking about, man, there needs to be more people to plan on. And the coronavirus has taught us such a great lesson because we have no idea who might be able to actually play come playoff time. So we might not be able to have our best 4 or whatever. We are just going to have to get up there and do what we know how to do. So that was a big push that I made this year, this past year, on just trying to spread that love out and be more inclusive and figure out what we need to do come playoff time. I've always really enjoyed the teams that in the playoffs can play multiple people, and it isn't just the same 4. I think that also goes to growing and learning and all of the underlying messages that this league does for us. That's a big part of it. So this is where I'm going to kind of open the floor, and hopefully we don't have a ton of reconfirming kind of talk. But does anyone have questions about the season you had? So not necessarily playoff wise, because we kind of talked about that for a while, but the season you had that we can talk about, unique situations, something about your school. Is there something that I can help address for you that can make it better or just clear up things? This is kind of where maybe the floodgates will go. So does anyone have anything about your season that I can talk about publicly and help you out with? Anyone? I'm looking for thumbs up. Coach Miley, go ahead.
Oh, Coach Miley. Okay. Okay. So this year I created a culture, right?
Yep.
But it was a lot of hard work because I love my kids, but they're super loud and super annoying. Love you, Sam. How do I keep that going while also creating better perimeters? And how do I put in a request for a co-coach? I don't mean your coach. I mean a co-coach.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So all cool questions. So first off, and this might help too for anyone that is interested in coaching for next year. So I do a whole summer of coaching, and I do have a plan for how to do that. I do want to do some stuff in person and whatnot. So I've got a plan, and I will give that to you guys and help you with that. But I won't spend a ton of time on that plan here. That will be more of a coach thing. That's why you have to tell us if you are interested in coaching. If you don't tell us and you get away from this meeting, you might miss on everything. But to answer Miley's question, and this is kind of neat because we're all so different. Like what you're focused on and what you do with your coaches might be very different than what another school does. And Miley said what she just said is right. She helped build a culture, and that's what her school sorely needed. That was probably goal number one over anything else for her school. Now, what you do though is sometimes things happen in stride. So it will get better. What I'm saying is, Miley, is that because you built the culture, next year will automatically be better because the culture's in place. You don't have to spend as much time on it. So you'll be able to focus on other things, to where some of you are maybe some of you feel like you've got a strong team and you're doing good work. So maybe you're the team right now that's just doing pure scene work because it's just, this is the thing that we struggle with the most. So we're all just in these weird different spots. And normally year to year, we see that growth. I'm thinking about, you know what? I think this is a really good example. A-Tech is coming to mind right now because A-Tech is going to be right now in their 3rd year in the league. So, I mean, they're not like the Del Sols who've been in it since the beginning. Like this is their 3rd year, and they've had a couple of kids that are graduated or graduating this year. Only a couple, but the core of them are all a part of it. Now they're in their 3rd year, going into next year. They've been through a lot of the base level stuff, and they're getting hungry. Like I would fully expect A-Tech to be a very strong force next year, regardless if we have playoffs or not. So everyone's just in different phases. So I'm answering Miley's question as if I'm not necessarily answering her question. I'm trying to speak to everyone to be able to get that answer. But Miley, if you want help, I got you. Let's just talk. And coaches, and I could, you know what, I can say this part now. Probably almost all coaches, I'm going to chat with you to kind of just get updates. If you are first year, like this was your first year coaching, say in Miley's case, I am probably going to do a meeting of just first year coaches from this past year, to talk about more things about that exact thing. And then on top of all the other meetings. So coaches, just wait for me to be in touch with you on that. Cool. Okay. And yes, go ahead.
If I could just butt in real quick.
Yeah.
Miley, you're doing everything right. I mean, if you've created that culture in the first year, it's like being a new teacher or being new at anything. The second year is going to be so much easier. But the one thing I will say is that second year, you can't come in and say, well, I did all this work last year, so I'm going to just cruise this year, because that's when the whole thing kind of like falls. You know what I mean? So you have to just be consistent, and your kids really love you and respect you. So just be yourself and do your best, and you'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah. And I would argue maybe Arborview's kind of in your same boat too, where Ariel had to create a little culture and whatnot. So I see the parallels just because I work with all the schools. And I get it. I get where all the schools are at, and I want to help you where you're at. I mean, I don't know. I can't compare this to education, but I'm a little bit of the No Child Left Behind act. Like I'm in favor of it, but I understand people are at different levels. So this is a place where all the levels can exist. So we're figuring it out. Any other questions about this season or comments that we can kind of dive into? Althea, I see your little thumb.
Okay. I was just wondering, is there, because I am the only sophomore on my team, there's no freshmen. All of our team is it's both seniors and juniors. So I'm like, if nothing else happens, I'm just going to be that one person left my senior year. So is there any way that like you would think that like I could appeal to more people to get them to join?
Yes, and that might be, honestly, yes, I want to do the playoffs, but that is the biggest motivation behind this meeting is that question. Cool. Althea, if you don't mind, give me just a second to really answer that. because there might be a couple of questions that allow us to go in a different direction. But yes, I want to stress that so heavy. Christian, I see your little thumb.
Alrighty. Okay, my original comment was gonna be funny, but then I remembered my actual question. So are we gonna have summer classes like we did last year? And also, hi Althea. I didn't get to say hi to you before.
It's looking like the summer class side of things might be really tough to do. I'm not opposed to just doing something, like just trying to get something. I mean, if this would have been a normal summer, then yeah, I would have done the class like I did. But I don't know. Jury's out. If I can do something, again, that annoying thing, I got to make you guys want to come back. And if I just annoy you, you're not going to want to come back. But like, I know that might sound ridiculous to the 100 of you that are sitting here listening to me speak, but it's a big deal. Like the amount of you that don't come back to improv practice because you got a remind message 8 times, like I get it, but it's true. I try not to annoy you. I've sent you 2 messages since quarantine. It was the here's the quarantine and it's the here's the meeting. So I think about it. Romeo, I saw your little thumb.
Finally, hey, what up?
Hey.
So, I did have this question because you were talking about the meeting with first-year coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So, in some cases, like for example, me and I'm pretty sure Gabe as well,
Mm-hmm.
this is our first year alone coaching, but it's our second year coaching.
I want to talk to you guys too. So yeah, I've got several coaching plans that we don't necessarily need to dive in right now. But I think the coaches being in this meeting with the students is important. So I think there's some perspective that we can gain. But yeah, I got you, Romeo. I'll reach out to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other unique situations about the season that we can chat about? Everyone's school is so different. Speedy, I see your little thumb.
Hi, I wanted to ask, this isn't, I mean, it's partly about me, but mostly it's about just anyone else in this boat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously going to go into my junior year, which is also going to be my 3rd year in improv.
Okay.
And I just wanted to ask you, because you're the improv wizard, what advice you would have about like going into, a year where I think I understand improv pretty well, but I want to be able to go from here to here.
Well, I don't imagine that there's anyone in this meeting right now that is just brand new. Like they're joining as a new performer next year. Like, so I'm sure everyone can at least attest to this comment. There is the initial honeymoon period of joining and doing improv to where this is just all fun, just top to bottom fun, to where you are so blinded by fun to where all the other stuff your coach tells you in practice just doesn't add up. Like it's not, your coach speaks and you're like, whatever, like I want to say this. So there's the honeymoon period, and then there's the, oh, I get it now. All the things that my coach has been telling me means this, to where now we actually apply those kind of things. But everyone reaches that stage at a different point. So maybe to you, Speedy, you think that going from sophomore to junior year, you think maybe now you're at that point. Cool. Everyone gets to that point at a different time. But if your brain is there, now you're going to digest more of what, say, like Coach Warren is saying, what Al says, what your teammates say. So if I can encourage everyone to get to that point, this is fun, but it is so much more fun when you really start figuring it out. I don't know how else to say that to you guys. This thing is fun on accident and a blast when we're killing it. That's part of the reason why Championship Day is so fun, is we literally go from crying to laughing our butts off so drastically in such a hierarchy of change. It's such an awesome day because the level of people that are up there are people that probably get it. So my best advice for you, Speedy, is keep getting it. ask questions, ask as many questions as you can. Don't overthink it and do it. So there's something about understanding, but there's also something about having, like, putting in reps and doing the work. So sometimes you just gotta shut up and do it. That's the best way. That's something I push the coaches to do, is just spread out. Everyone get up and get some reps in. Everyone, there's some value in just getting up, and honestly, there's value in bad improv. There's so much value in new people on your team and freshmen and people who don't know what they're doing. This league needs to be 500 freshmen, 500 everybody else. That's what the league needs to be every year. I want more than 1,000, but if I'm only going to get 1,000, I want 500 freshmen, because that's how you all grow. That's how you all get it. Thank you, Marshall, for that comment. That is such a great comment. Legacy's motto this year: don't just think about, don't just talk about it, be about it. Don't just think about it, be about it. So walk the walk and talk the talk. Cool. Ashley, I saw the thumb up for a second. Did you have something, or are you okay? Ashley from Green Valley?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know, because I came in a little bit late.
Don't
So
stress.
I don't know if it was already talked about.
Yep.
But like, besides coaching, is there anything that like seniors can do to like still participate in gestures? I was just wondering on that.
Yes. Send us the message. So send us the message, and then let's talk. So
Okay,
I need.
If I could interrupt really quick and say, anybody in this chat, just one more reminder: if you want to be a coach, a junior coach, if you want to help with staff, if you want to go to UNLV, UNR, CSN, TMCC, Dixie State, any of that, private message me, Corey staff, with all of that information and your email, and I will write it down.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to fix the thing.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. Any other season things? Something about your school? So I kind of, and I'm gonna throw out a thought here, because this is definitely a contagious thought, and just see if this doesn't open a bag of worms. But I kind of walk around with this. I'm like the fun uncle when I come to the school. So most of the time when I'm there, like, most of the time everyone's like, yay, Kopi's here, and this is fun and exciting, and maybe like one person at each school might pull me aside and say, Kopi, I messed up this scene. Yeah. So like that happens a lot, but everyone can do that. Like everyone can pull me aside. Everyone can have those conversations with me. That's what I'm doing. I am here for all of you, and that's what when I'm talking to the coaches, that's what I tell them too. Like, use me. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. So I want you to do that too. Here's a plague. This is a plague that happens to every student, to every coach. Sometimes it probably even gets into my brain sometimes. Funkle Kopi? What?
Fun uncle.
Oh. Is that
Fun Uncle Kopi?
I get it.
Funkle Kopi?
I get it. Thanks, Elliot. Here's kind of a plague that happens all the time, and if this happens to you, or if you've done this, don't think I'm knocking you. Just know that this is a thing. But there is such a psychological guard that people put up when they think that there's something that they need to do or something that needs to happen. They automatically will disregard other things. So here's what I mean. At the beginning of every school year, when I go into the schools and I say, hey, if you want to do improv, come on blank and blank day after school, come Wednesdays after school. They think in their mind, oh, well, in February, I'm taking a family trip to Texas and I'm going to be gone for a week, so I won't be able to be here that day. I'm not going to do improv. Okay. I hear that all the time. I don't know if I can coach jesters next year. I was only in the league for a year. Automatic block. Reach out to me. So we all do this. We all do this to ourselves, and it's such a big psychological block that we automatically take away opportunities by whatever idea we come up with. So I want you to know that single-handedly will prevent people from doing improv. That will single-handedly prevent people from showing up. I missed one day of practice. I guess I can't ever go again. So it happens all the time. So with that being said, yes. Okay, cool. I see a thumb already. Vanessa, go ahead. Any thoughts?
So even if I'm like 99.99% sure I'm not gonna be here in Vegas.
Oh, for
I
college.
still, yeah, for college. Do I
Yeah,
still talk to you about like anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. If there's a possibility, then talk to me and we'll figure it out. I mean, the list I'm going to get today is going to be this long, and what we'll come out with at the start of the year might come out to be this long because of whatever happens here. And that's just life. Guys, it's nothing personal. It is nothing personal at all. We all go through life. We all have stuff. Don't stress at all. If you want to be a part of this, this is a world where you can always be a part of it.
Can I interrupt really quick?
Yes.
I would like to say that if you have even the slightest bit of interest in coaching or being a staff or doing improv in college, even if it's like a 1% chance that you're going to go to that school or a 1% chance that you're going to be able to coach, send me a message regardless. You can still get the information.
Yeah.
You sending me a message and saying I'm interested does not mean that you are like pledging your eternal soul to the league. It's just an interest thing. So even if it's like the slightest bit of interest, please just send me a message.
I mean, heck, actually, in Corey's case, Corey went to UNR. She thought she was doing Reno, but decided to come back to UNLV, and just life worked out, and we got some Corey in our life. So, yeah, so whatever, however you want to do that, however. But I did see a handful of other little thumbs. Maya, did you have a thumb up? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't like talked to anyone today. Oh, wow. With Durango, I think we're a little bit of a special case because you know, Kopi, that like we have like maybe like 10 members right now. Like we're really small.
Yeah, you're smaller.
Yeah, we're one of the smaller teams, but the thing is like all our members are like sophomore up, and I believe we only had like one freshman perform this entire year, and I'm really scared that like as soon as like I leave, like with me being a senior this upcoming year, I'm really scared that this like Durango is just not going to do so good.
I'm with you, and that's not a bad fear to have, guys, for anyone that might be kind of in that same boat. And maybe it's time to address Althea's question from before, to try and say what and how as far as how we get new people, and I want to talk about that. Christian, I saw you physically put up your hand. Alex Keene, I saw your little thumb. Did you have something?
Hey guys. So I feel like I kind of have a unique way of answering this situation because, I mean, a couple of us were at Rancho last year and felt some things happen because there was only 4 of us last year. And now this year, both my teams actually have a decent amount of people to where I don't have to worry about only having 4 all year. Hi, everybody. I think the big thing is just thinking of the different ways that you can advertise. Because like you have that initial ring of like, hey, like I can talk to the theater stuff and interact with the theater kids for most of the schools, but how can you reach out to the school in ways other than that? It's like, hey, do we have people on journalism? Can we get ourselves on the news? How often can we make that happen? We've talked to theater. How can we talk to the other art programs at the school as well? Let's talk to them. If you have a speech and debate program at your school, a ton of speech and debate kids have connections to theater and the arts. Go and talk to them. There's so many different ways.
You're right, and I think, yeah, this is time. Let's jump into this side of it. If you do have like a real season, like an issue season, like something that we should talk about that's aside from how do we grow. Christian, does that mean you have something different? Go ahead.
No, I didn't have something different. It's just
you're gonna piggyback off of that.
I had a comment concerning the growth because yeah.
Well, here, let me say a couple things, and then if you have something different, then please chime back in. Okay, so for plans, First off, we need to have like not only hopefully those of you that run your team Instagrams, you've given your information to your coach. So if you missed that message earlier, if you run your team Instagram, please send your username and password to your coach. But we also need to have a successor. Like if you were a senior moving on, and Maya, in your case, you're a junior, so we got one more Maya year. But we need to have a successor. We need to know, is there a younger classman that we can rely on to be committed and whatnot? Because you need that. Every team needs the one. All you need is one. So for example, let's say your best friend goes to a school that doesn't have an improv team. All I need is your best friend. I can help them get an improv team. So just you need one. That's all. And yes, that's a plug for any of you with that best friend at a different school. So here's what I'd like us to do. And if you are a senior graduating on your way out the door and you want to help just put some of this together, you can do that too. Okay, so just throw it out there. I want everyone to try and make an improv table at orientation. So I want this to be goal number one for everybody. Coaches, if you want to go help sit at that table, cool. Teammates, whatever. Basic for the past couple of years has done a good job doing this, where they just make a little improv pop-up display. Pahrump, I feel like this is part of the reason why you boomed this year, is because we came out to Pahrump. Like I physically came out there and we took a cut. Shawnee came out with me and so on, and make a table and start there. We need freshmen. Orientation typically is big for freshmen, and they have clubs. So I just did my CCSD survey saying, what do you want to see during the orientation and blah, blah, blah. Let's have it happen. Let's get a table. But the only way you can get a table is you got to talk to your teacher and you got to make it happen. Unfortunately, as good as I am at this, I cannot coordinate 32 different tables. I really need just the captain or someone to, even if you're not a captain, if you're thinking in your mind like, oh, there's 8 other people above me that are captains and I'm not, you can totally run the table. Anyone can help run the table. Anyone. We just need someone to do it. What did I humble brag? So we need to start with the table. That's huge. Yes, Faith, go ahead.
So I know with Arborview, we couldn't get improv as an official club because we needed a teacher supervisor, and that would include someone to go to every one of our meetings, every one of our games, and none of the teachers I asked were willing to do that. So we can't get an orientation table. Is there something else Arborview could do?
So this is a small hiccup for some schools, and I'm going to be as blunt as possible. Either A, you can borrow table space from somebody else, which is such an easy lot. I mean, there's no reason why you can't have on the corner of the theater table an improv flyer, if possible. I mean, because in a way, I mean, improv, at least at Arborview, it exists because Mr. Kelly's like, cool, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, he's kind of your advisor. You could go total rogue, like what Eva did this past
bring
year.
our own table.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could do that too. You know what? I am encouraging any creative ways you want to create a table, because it's just having a table. Like it's just, I mean, it's not if you exist in whatever way you want to exist, cool, but let's get creative. So here's another thought, just in case this is out there. If any of you have the same complication that Faith has, Eva from Bonanza this year, who Bonanza's team has been huge now for the past couple of years, huge, lots of kids doing it. She decided just to get a different advisor that isn't the theater teacher. Now the theater teacher at Bonanza is the department chair of theater teachers. He's the guy, he's the top guy. But Eva just thought it would be more convenient for the improv club to have another advisor. That's it. That's all it was just maybe we can do more things. So they had their table at the beginning of the year last year, and they were able to really succeed from that. So you saying it was hard to find another advisor, that might be the case. If you can find another advisor, cool. Whatever works out best for your school is cool. I want to help you in any which way. A lot of the theater teachers are not that angry that they don't have to be the advisor, because in their brain they think it's one less thing that they have to do. So if you need help with some of that, like if you say, you know what, at my school I'd really like to try, maybe I can help you do that. Like, you know what, this just hit my brain, Faith, right now, but oh, what is her name at Arborview? Oh, it's gonna hit me. There's another teacher at Arborview that that used to be a theater teacher, that she teaches like history now or something. Whatever, nonetheless. And she used to be an advisor for me. Oh,
Stop,
God.
I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, so
Is it Miss Barber?
No. Anyway, the table's huge. That's got to be #1 goal for everyone, is the table. If the table doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. What Alex said before, announcements, that kind of thing is huge. A lot of times I do come through your classes, right? You'll see me at some point. Use that to your advantage as well. You can do the simple lunchtime thing, flyer thing. All you need is a little bit of effort up front, and the rest will work itself out, right? So if you're in this meeting because you've been either in the league for a while or you've been in it for at least a year, unfortunately, the beginning of the year for me is just one giant sales pitch. I hate it. Everything in my soul hates me having to go into a school and say, hey guys, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Please come have some fun with me. But that's what I have to do every year. And it normally works. I normally have pretty good results. It's kind of like a science how I do it. But you guys can help with that. So you guys can be a part of that. Heck, it helps when I've got some funny people standing next to me to do funny things. So it really helps. And I promise you, even if you think your improv is not that strong, like if you're like, I'm just so-so at improv, you are going to be better than 99% of the freshmen that come in. You have the experience. It's going to go such a long way for you. So anyone can help with this whole table idea. Sasha, did you have a little thumb up for a second?
Hi
Hey.
everybody. So we could also, like, if we don't have a table, or if you do, we can do like a short promo video and then have teachers show it. Then it goes out more. And if one teacher doesn't show it, it's okay because the other one does, something like that.
Yep. You guys can all share. Yeah, absolutely. Like you can social media share this completely. It's why one of the first things I said today about the Instagram thing, about making sure that your coaches get access, is because that's such a huge tool. The amount of students I heard this year tell me, oh, I saw this on Instagram, so I showed up to improv. So I heard that so many times. Sasha, Jenna from Durango, that's what she said. Yeah. One of you guys posted it and said it. I see a couple other thumbs up. I'm going to get to you. So yeah, sharing things. I'm going to ask you about sharing something here in a minute too. That's a bridge off of what Sasha's saying. Table's most important. Social media is most important. And okay, let me get to my thumbs because you're probably going to help my brains. Caitlin, you got a little thumb up, right?
Hi, yes I do.
Go ahead.
Not to bring us back into the conversation, and it might be hypothetically, if I wanted to coach or do anything that was involved, do I direct message you guys on Zoom? Because I have no idea how to use it.
You can, or my name on my thing is my email address. Just email me.
So just because I know I was supposed to contact Corey, but like
whether it's Corey is literally controlling the mouse on my computer.
I am.
So yeah, whatever you want to do. However you want to reach out, I'll figure it out and I'll organize it. Couple of thumbs. Christian, go ahead. I know. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I've been spamming so many thumbs.
Yeah.
It's just when I started at Del Sol, our team was very small, and then my advice just because our team's like almost over 20, I think we have somewhere around that number. But my advice, like, obviously, like, the table thing is a really good idea. We made flyers and we took like the corners of the theater table, and then we would just walk around our orientation and pass them out. But also, the most effective thing is just talking to people. Like, honestly, like, I got so many members to join my freshman year just by telling them about it. And, like, Mia, for example, she joined because I made that with her, that improv was that day. And, you know, then people just stayed.
That's how Mia joined? That's funny.
She didn't believe me. She didn't believe that improv.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can be creative. I mean, some of the best stories that I've heard is just you guys bringing a friend. So, I mean, if you've all heard that Tirza story, the 2017 MVP was dragged to her first practice crying. She was so anxiety driven, and I was there. I remember her being dragged into the room, and I remember how upset she was. And then boom, the next year she turned out to be the league MVP. So you probably have that funny friend that doesn't do something. That theater and improv are different. That funny friend might love improv and might never want to do a play. That's not bad. Another reason why we want freshmen is because those freshmen probably aren't going to get cast in your plays, which means they'd probably be able to show up to more practices than not. So, I mean, there's so many benefits to having freshmen from just new blood and whatnot. You want to make that big push. At Pahrump last year, I just thought of this. When me and Song and Shawnee and Alexis and everyone was at Pahrump, we sat at their table telling 185 jokes. We said, hey, do you want us to tell a joke? And they say, sure. And then we say, what'd you eat today? And they tell us what they ate. And then we just tell them a joke on the spot. And that's how we did it. We just sat there and told 185 jokes. And people would laugh and sign up on the list and whatever. So do it however you want to do it. Okay, Miley, did your hand go up for a sec?
Yeah, okay. I wanted to ask, do you think it'd be beneficial to like challenge our kids to like, hey, I'll give you a prize if you bring a friend to practice or something like that?
You are so ambitious and creative with these ideas. If you think of something logical, like, please guys, don't like put out of your pockets. Like, some of you coaches do get paid, but not all of you. So like, I'm thinking of the old Cimarron coach before Justin. He literally would show up with Red Bull and all sorts of stuff and just like bribe people. And Spencer did that all the time. And he would just be spending money on all this. So, I mean,
Well, okay, because as I have like a star system on like a Good Noodle thing. Mm-hmm. So with them, I could just like you get like 2 extra stars if you bring a friend, and then at the end they get a prize.
Okay, yeah, I mean, get creative, have fun with that, absolutely. The earlier you get them there, the better. Unfortunately, sometimes when you know we get to January, it's just really tough to rope in a new person. So we got to get that table, because the table typically happens either before school starts or like the first week of school, right? So got to get that table, got to get that table, got to get that table. I'm seeing some more thumbs. Donovan, go ahead.
I just want to say real quick, don't bribe with energy drinks, because I was bribed with energy drinks. Yeah, and now I'm epileptic, so.
Yeah, I specifically am speaking to Donovan's case.
That was me.
Yeah,
I was
he was
peer
one of
pressured
those
into
kids.
going. Then I was bribed, and now I'm epileptic. So take those things into account.
Well, I'm glad. Well, I don't know you. I don't know what to say to you right now.
This is now a DARE meeting, not a Jesters meeting. Sorry.
Donovan was nominated for MVP. If there's any consolation prize this year, that's one of our 6 nominees, guys. All right, moving on. Nick, did you have a little thumb for a second? There's a lot of thumbs going on right now, guys. So I'm trying.
Yeah.
Nick, go ahead.
So just I wanted to talk about like how how good the table can actually be, because I remember my sister Cassie, she was vice president for our theater, right? and she was telling me that we had orientation the next day. I was like, oh crap, like I kind of wanted to go to that, so I was like, all right, I'll go. And then I texted Isaac. I was like, hey, orientation is like tomorrow. Should we set up an improv table? He goes, I can go for like maybe an hour. He said, so if you want to. I'm like, I bet. So we showed up. I found Isaac. We put together like the worst table. Like everyone had the intricate tables, like, and they were set up and decorated. We had this piece of paper, like, and people could draw stuff. Like that's it. Like we didn't have any ideas. And we have a picture of that table because of how crappy it was. But and when we started advertising it, parents loved it. Like kids would not go near it, but if you grab the attention of the parents, they'd be like, they grab their kid and be like, hey, get into this club because it looks like a positive club.
Well, and
then,
your parents are going to know what improv is, Sky. The parents will know. A student might not in passing, but a parent will. So you do have a little bit of support there just from that scenario. Or try the joke thing. I don't want to give a ton of table stories because I'm sure we could tell a bunch of table stories, but that table needs to happen. So like, and this is, it's only because it's fresh in my brain, but I heard West Tech's orientation day is August 6th. So don't wait till August 5th, West Tech, to talk about a table because you'll never get it. So you got to reach out in advance to get these tables done, guys.
And I realized, like, we were advertising it improv. If you don't know what improv is, it's acting without script. Well, that was like scaring kids off. But the second we discovered like a formula, the second we started calling it comedy on the spot, kids enjoyed it immediately, and they were all ears immediately. And we ended up getting like 20 to 30 freshmen that day just from a stupid piece of paper that we organized within an hour and slammed in between theater and choir. Like it was that quick, so it's very, very effective too.
Yep, I mean, if you gotta rush it, then fine. But let's learn from Nick's.
That wasn't the moral of the story.
Yeah.
That wasn't the moral of the story.
Okay, we're hammering the table thing to death, and I've got so many thumbs. Are we all thumbing because of tables, or are we thumbing for other stuff? Other stuff. Alexander, I saw you shake your hand at me. Go ahead.
I have another soft question. It's
okay.
So this year, a lot of our improv members were also in theater, and I know there's one show in particular. It was the last one we actually got to perform.
Okay.
Almost everybody was in improv and the show.
Right.
So would there be a way for us to? I don't know if it'd be if you'd organize it or if our coach and the school would organize it. But
it's both. Mr. B is kind of cool about stuff, and it did change for you guys.
Yeah,
that is it's an unfortunate case that we do have to deal with if you want to do plays and improv. Unfortunately, even if in whatever scenario we can create, unfortunately, sometimes you just have to do one or the other. So, but that is also part of the reason why I push freshmen so hard, is that you might not fall into that scenario. Here's the good news, is that the plays only last so long. We typically run the whole year, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in your case, because you already did a whole year, like next year, if you're also in a play and you miss a little bit of time, that's okay. But in Legacy's case, Legacy definitely needs to get a couple more freshmen in there, because I know a lot of you do the play. So
I was thinking, would there be a way for, say, something happens and we aren't able to organize a day where we can, like, an empty spot for rehearsals that we can put improv in? Would there be a way for us to do like a weekend improv practice?
If Mr. B and Justin and I mean, if it all works out that way, I'm not against it. So yeah, okay. I am not against it. Just throw it out there. Throw it out there. So yeah, that's not, every school definitely has the whole rehearsal interfering with improv scenario, and it's a world that is, it's hard to fix. Yeah, it's just a reality. But A, freshmen fix that. B, sometimes the time that you practice might also affect that. The old Palo team used to do improv after play rehearsal. Like that used to be a thing. I mean, we can get creative with it. You just have to, we have to arrange it and see how we do it. So we are completely open to figure out and be flexible however way we can. So,
Okay.
Okay, so we gotta bridge from away from tables and do more. Do I talk about that now or not? I can wait a second on that. Okay, so here's kind of, Alice, I still see your thumb up. You got something? That isn't, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Alice.
Well, I just wanted to say, like, really quick, when me and you were having a conversation, you told me something that stuck with me for a really, really long time.
Okay.
We were about how you said passion spills over, and I think that's so important. I think as long as you really love improv and enjoy what you're doing, you'll attract people and they'll join your team. You know, I feel like passion really does go over, and you can really want to share it with everybody because I feel like that's 100%.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I do think that goes a long way. You know, I've never had an issue, say, with bridging off of what Alexander asked. Like, I've never had an issue with someone who had to go to play rehearsal if this is definitely somewhere they want to be. Like, if their passion bleeds, then they're always welcome. I will always say that. Heck, you do 1 year with me, and let's say you don't do improv the next, whatever. You're part of this world now. You're part of this family. So that passion speaks to it. I do believe that that's part of the way why this league is what it is because I think I bleed the passion for this league, and it does spill over. So yeah, I do have to do the salesman thing in the beginning, but after that initial hook, like, you guys get it. You guys understand it. I've spent all day getting ready for this meeting. I'm going to spend the rest of the night doing all the follow-up stuff, but it will go a long way. And you know what, Alice, I'm glad that I actually asked you for that because this will help me transition for this point. Every year I try and at least give an update on what's going on, and this update might be a little bit of asking for help as well. So here's what I've been working on, for those of you that don't know, is for, I don't know, I think in 2012 or 13 is when I first made my first presentation to the state with this league saying, hey, take this league on and let's make this a thing. And here's what I mean by that is that the same way that you've got a football team and a volleyball team or whatever at your school, I've been trying to get the state and now the district to take on the league and grandfather it in. And there's a governing body that governs all sports and activities called the NIAA. The NIAA basically is the one that controls everything. They regulate the rules and whatever. They're the ones that pay the referees that go to the baseball games and whatever. So the NIAA is what I've been trying to get Jesters taken on by. Now, NIAA stands for Nevada Interscholastic Athletics and Activities. Thank you, Mr. Durrell. Now, the NIAA has confessed to me over the years that they do not do a very good job with the activities part, and they wonder if this fits into that category. And they're also, now I've raised the question of this actually being a sport as well. So I've been on this battle for a long time, and my battle now is more so with the district. I actually have a ton of support with the NIAA, and I think the day that I show back up will be a day where I'm going to be greeted with some smiles. But my problem's with the district, and that's where my struggle is. Because everyone in the district, when it comes to us, they kind of point at each other and say, well, you're not a sport, so you should go over there. Well, you're not technically fine arts, you should go over there. So it's kind of a weird spot where, because it's unprecedented, and it doesn't exist really elsewhere. We kind of keep falling into this hole. So here's kind of where I'm at. I have tried pretty hard the past 2 years since Dr. Yara has come in and taken over as superintendent to get his ear. And I've been pretty unsuccessful, and the coronavirus has not helped at all. So I've also had to just take a back seat on us for a second, at least in that regard. But I do have some other outlets and some other ways and some other things. So I'm going to start a new kind of, I don't want to say marketing campaign, but I'm going to start a new way of trying to fly our flag. And I have, so like, for example, I've got a new kind of different way of putting on a video that I'm going to put out for next year. And it is kind of a, hey, if you want to join the league and you haven't been in the league yet, yay. But I would hope maybe that we as a league we can share it. We can get some more things. What am I asking? I don't know what I'm asking. I'm asking for maybe a bigger help from anyone that wants to just help me fly this flag. So, for example, we've got what, 5 schools in the city that aren't in the league for whatever their reasons are. If you've got that best friend at that school, like, maybe you can help me get their team there. If I've got every school in the city, how can the district turn us down? Why do I want this? Why is this a thing? A lot of your coaches, so we've got 40 coaches this year, a lot of your coaches don't get paid for being there. They give all of that time to you and their gas and whatnot, for most of them almost for free. They would be able to actually maybe get paid for their time. We would not have to worry about what Faith talked about earlier and having that advisor, because your football coach doesn't need to have the gym teacher out on the field, right? The gym teacher isn't the advisor for the football team. The football coach gets to be there. So there's so many benefits to getting this taken over by the NIA that has always been my goal. And then also what that allows us to do is that allows us to go to Reno, and that allows us to go to Carson City, and that allows us to really open this thing up to such a different level. So I've been pushing this so hard, and it's only because it doesn't exist to why I've been met with so much adversity. But for what Alice just said about passion, I mean, it's here. I see it. I know it. It's by the truckload. There's so much history here of beauty, and so many of you. My oldest crew they're going on their 7th year. My coaches who've been here the longest are all going in their 7th year. Coach Warren, Coach Pete, Coach Steven, Roman. This is gonna be Roman's 7th year this year. So if anyone has thoughts on what I'm saying of anything, I would love to maybe just throw it out and just say, hey guys, does anyone have, heck, does anyone know, is anyone related to one of the trustees of the school board? Like, does anyone got anything that might help us in a unique way do more with this league? So that's all. That's the reason why I'm throwing this out there. You're going to see when I put out the video for next year for advertising, just what I mean by this. I did have a grand plan that I wanted to do on Championship Day of filming a video for this exact reason, but I gotta have Championship Day in order to do it. So if we get to have Championship Day, I'm doing it. Don't worry. But yeah, if you've got a thought or something you'd like to share here on some of this, I would gladly hear it. Vanessa, I saw your little thumb first.
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. So something that like I think might potentially be helpful, like I'm not personally related to anybody in the district, so I can't like hook you up with the
I get it, but anything you can share might help.
So one of the biggest things to me about improv is the overall like experience. And so maybe like compiling like videos and recordings of like the students themselves, or even just emails of the students themselves, like sharing their experience and how it's changed them. Like I personally wrote college essays about improv and how it's like formed me as a person. Maybe like that will get the superintendents like, you know, like
Yeah, I've thought of going that route too, and that is a small bridge off of the championship day idea I had, and actually that is part of what the video is too. So the video that I put out that will start for next year, like the initial ploy, that is a part of it. Yes, Jezreel, go ahead.
I just had one question. Can like organizations like churches or just a group of people outside of schools get into Jesters?
What do you mean? Like
let's say a church that decides to get like a group of people and then do the improv shows at Jesters. Can outside organizations?
I mean, unfortunately, you gotta be in school, and part of the school side of it is, I mean, insurance and whatnot. There's some weird legalities, and because the league exists in such a way to where there's so much red tape around us, and I'm just, remember, the sky's falling, but I want to figure out how to put it back up. So I've just figured out how to make this happen with all of my red tape. So let's say, yeah, let's say if you're in a church group or whatever, they would have to do it with their team at their school. Like if you've got buddies like you go to church with, kind of thing. But yeah, there couldn't be like a St. Mark's church team. Like if that makes sense. So, okay, other thoughts, Althea.
Okay. Well, personally, I don't know anybody like there in like the Senate or whatever, but I'm a very likable person. So just bring me anywhere and you know, I will help you. And then also, my other point is not in my head anymore.
Okay. Email me.
But I will come back.
Okay. Christian, go ahead.
Howdy. My first question is, should I wear this hat during a show? I'm pretty sure it won't fall off. And my second comment is, we should petition the superintendent, because I'm pretty sure we have enough students to where our voice would matter, and not even just current students who are in the league, but if we got past students to also send that petition.
It's not a bad thing. Here's what I don't want to do is I don't want to start a fire and then ask for forgiveness for the fire. I would rather start with a campfire and invite someone to the campfire. So that's all. I want to just always come at it from the best possible angle. And I don't know if we're at petition level yet. I feel like there's some other ways we can get there. Here's the weird thing about me is, and if I had a nickel for the amount of times people just called me persistent, is I'm persistent. Like at some point, someone's going to cave to me and respond to an email or something. But I could definitely use some help at this point. So that's part of the motivation. Is maybe one of you have got something that it's like, ooh, here's a thought and an idea that might be able to help me in another way. But it sounds like we all might be going in a good direction. Lily, I see your little thumb.
Yes, you should wear the hat.
Roman.
Okay. Yeah, I figured out how to unmute myself. My computer's been freezing. Okay. So, like my thing is like I'm willing to help, but I don't really have like the best friend in another school, and like kind of, so it's more of like how would
and that's okay. Yeah, I'm not saying you guys need to come up with ideas. I'm more so by me telling the story, I'm wondering if anyone had just a knee-jerk reaction of ooh, here, there's a thought. Gio, are you still with us? Are you still on the call?
Yes.
Hey, so like, here's a really good example. Gio, tell me about the committee that you were on last year.
Okay, so I was part of the entire CCSD's, what was it called? We were part of this, basically, this committee where we were basically the equivalent to like student council for like all of CCSD. And I got to like directly speak to Dr. Yara, and like I was trying to push this so hard. Like at the end of every meeting, I'd be up in their face like, hey, do you know what you should do? And then I'll show them like the website. I'll show them a bunch of random history stuff. I'll explain to them what it's like. I try to make a massive push. I think I might still be able to contact them in some form. So that's probably something that I'll try to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a real unique situation that worked itself out. I had no idea at first that Gio had that. And then when he started telling me he was doing that, I was like, cool. Yeah, so any of that little stuff, that goes a long way. So that's all. I want to plant that seed because it can only help. And here's a thing that I have to talk. Yes.
I'm sorry to just call out. I just wanted to. I was trying to put the thumb up and it kept going away. I'm not sure if you know this. Del Sol has a cinematic arts department focused on film. And so we did this for Del Sol last year. Now, partly due to COVID and some computer issues that were fixed with new equipment, we weren't able to finish the Del Sol commercial. And this also is an issue because our teacher left. But we do have the equipment and the editors to make a high production commercial for Gestures. And we did contact local stations that were willing to run a Del Sol commercial that I'm sure if we could get back a hold of them would be willing to run a Gestures commercial.
Well, and I would not fight with that at all. You know, I mean, the benefit of this getting the love from the district and the NIAA is so high. I mean, if you think about it, you see it on what, local UPN or whatever, where they play the high school football games. Who wouldn't want to watch a bunch of free improv shows, right? I mean, just funny things. That's what why do we go on TikTok? Because we watch people and we laugh our butts off. You know, I mean, we want to laugh. So there's so much benefit to doing what we're doing in so many ways. So what you just said there, Speedy, is awesome. Speedy, I think you've emailed me before. Email me that, and let's talk.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta. If you've got something kind of unique on this topic, I'm going to ask if you also email me as well, because I'm going to accept all the help I can get. But we're dropping participants. We're already on hour 2, and there are just a couple more things I do need to squeeze out here. So go ahead.
Please do not make a question about this, but I just want to say this: it's but a lot of your schools have state thespian officers that are within your improv troops, and they have direct access not only to the theater troops, but to national thespian conferences and national thespian boards. So if you are an STO or you have an STO, I was an STO, so I can help you with that. So you can reach out to me, but that's also a good resource. Okay, Kobe, you can keep going.
Cool, yay. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so here's something I do have to talk about every single meeting that I do this, and because it's important and it should be brought up, but that's shirt money, shirt order. So I will always announce this because it is the bane of my existence, but there's nothing more miserable for me in my life than to do the shirt order every single year for Jesters. Not because you personally didn't give the $10 or $15 for your shirt, but because a lot of you didn't. So the coaches collecting money is hard. Just remembering to bring money, that kind of thing. So this is really, really hard to do every year. That's why, if you notice, the past 2 years the shirts have been the same, because that has made it slightly easier. Also, having those shirts floating around school is important. If we do shows at your school, like showcases, having the shirts in October is huge rather than waiting until January to get them. So I'm trying to find any scenario to help this shirt order. And hey, do you know what helps the shirt order? The district and the NIAA. So that really does also help. But if there's any other ways to help that shirt order, I will employ any of you to give us any of that love. It is an absolute nightmare, the shirt order as a whole. And typically I come out of pocket. I have come out of my own pocket over $1,000 plenty of times each shirt order. So, and that's because there's the one student who forgot to bring the 10, or I swear I'll bring it, and then they never bring it. And your $10 plus the $25 from this school, plus it just all adds up. So it is an absolute nightmare. And then of course misspellings and whatever. So I would love 50 shirts from every school. We can get as many shirts as humanly possible. I would like even nicer shirts, but there's just no way that we can increase the cost from 10 and 15. Like I can't ask that from students. Because then we just wouldn't exist. Like we would not exist if I said, "Hey, your shirt's $25." Like it just this league would die really hard. So any help, and I don't even know if we need to open discussion it. The coaches like Warren and Steven and Pete and Roman are so sick of hearing me talk about shirts. We can talk about it in a little bit, but yeah, it is a brutal nightmare. Yeah, Nick, I saw you. Go ahead. Or Nick from Clark.
Well, real quick, I mean, I just don't understand maybe the process of getting the shirts, but if I could get my order in real quick at the beginning of the year, do you do limited like runs, or is it like you order the whole thing at once?
No, I try and do it in gaps. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to just submit one school. So I'll try and submit at least 2 or 3 or 4 at a time. So that's it. So that's my only goal is I'm trying to submit 2 or 3 or 4. I'll get one of you to give me your shirts, by September 1st. One of you will do it. Which is great, but then then Christmas rolls around and then I'm collecting 10, 15 schools. So that's the problem. That's it. So I want everyone to have their shirts. If everyone have their shirts in October and you're doing your showcases in your shirts, God, that's so cool. And like everyone's more excited. Like the shirts just make you happy. Like shirts make all of your teammates happy and make them stick around more. So I want everyone to get their shirts, and right now, until the NIAA or the district takes it, like we just have this. Like this is the only way. Some of you have done awesome, like Western. Like shout out to you guys. Like you guys, did a bake sale this year or something, and we're able to pay for just about all of your shirts with just a simple little thing. I mean, so simple, so cool. You can do any of that kind of thing. Any way you want to organize it. So. Shirts is the bane of my existence. Okay. I should be able to pretty much rapid fire through the rest of this, unless you guys got some real strong things. So we could potentially be done in 10 minutes, unless there's some real things we should spend some time on. So, we talked about the season a little bit, going into next year, also kind of skipping over the uncertainty of what we're doing for playoffs, and keep looking for thumbs. Like if there's something where you need to interject, like give me your thumb, and Corey is going to keep spanning for it.
You got Cynthia.
Cynthia, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I've just been wondering. I know that people have been asking this. But if you didn't want to necessarily be a part of, I know this is my first year, but like if you didn't necessarily want to be like a coach, but wanted to still, like even after senior year, you still wanted to be a part of it, and you're sure that you do.
Yeah. Just reach out to me. I mean, I can't really say no to help, so I will find something. If Here's what I will say is if you've spent time in the league as a player, most of the time you can coach. Like there's something you have to offer. And if you've ever had your young coach in front of you and you just went, man, I just don't know if this made sense. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because A, that coach is getting an experience. B, that coach does have more experience than you do because they were in the league before. And C, it helped us in whatever reason why you had a young coach in front of you. Maybe the head coach couldn't be there that day. Maybe coaching had to get switched around. So there's always something that everyone can do. And we just have to figure out what it is and what you're most comfortable doing and what you want to do. So yeah, Cynthia, if you want to help, I would gladly help or take your help. Cynthia, you're not a senior, are you?
No, I'm a junior.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, we can talk more for you for sure next year as well. Okay, so then I'm gonna rapid fire. Roman, yes, please don't have it be a joke. What do you need?
It's not a joke, but it's a question about the season I never got to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you think like the worst game that was played this year was? Like what was consistently we didn't play it?
Oh yeah.
Also, I'm not.
Well, here every year we do have a game where we struggle with. And I would argue that I don't know if we had a general. I don't know if there was one that was like this was tough. I do know that 9 out of 10 still concerned me a little bit this year. Last year, I know I talked about the concern, but this year it concerned me a little bit as a whole. You know what? I wasn't ready for that, and I think the reason I wasn't ready for that is because I think as a whole we did okay. But if I could just tell you my general 9 out of 10 concern, it's that we are arguing more about things that aren't happening than we are just simply listening to what's happening in the game. So just the league as a whole just gets more comfortable with the fictitious way of challenging. So you know, Corey could be talking about her Starbucks coffee she's drinking, and then I could challenge in and just say, challenge, my arthritis is acting up. Now, maybe my comment is funny, but it's not necessarily bridging off of where we are. So so that might be a concern, but great question, Roman. Yeah, I'll put a little bit more thought into that for the coaching meetings as well, to make sure we're there. Okay, so rapid fire. Tables, gotta get tables. Last year, and this is really on the coaches, showcases. We got to get those showcases. We'll talk more this summer about it. 3, and coaches, just to throw this out there too, is I need more and better consistent communication with your advisors, with your teachers. I mean, yes, I'm gonna help you, but if you can help yourself, it would save me and allow me to, you know, fight the district and, you know, lead the troops in Normandy, whatever. So communication's a big deal. Communication also helps because remember the mindset I gave you before of, oh, I'm going to be gone in February, so I can't do improv. Well, that also affects communication. So a lot of times, if your student will come to me with something instead of coming to you, it might just maybe feel like communication is lost somewhere. And because I'm the cool uncle, like I get it, I'm the cool uncle, but there could be something more we could be doing where we're at least just communicating, hey, let's talk. Maybe we don't use our minds enough. There are some schools that really don't use their minds, or some schools that really don't use their social media, and we could do better. And the more of those things that we do, the easier our communication is going to get. And then also with teachers, like it does kind of stink when I have an advisor or teacher reach out to me and they can't get to you for some reason. So communication is a big deal. It's a big deal. But yes, we're going into year 12. This is the 12th year in the league. Championship day is amazing. I hope it happens. Cool. And then last for summer, For the coaches training, so seniors that want to stick around and whatnot, even if you want to do staff, so the training that we're going to do is going to happen in 2 parts. I am going to, so obviously if you're 18 and you're graduated, we can have each other's cell phone numbers and whatever. Last year I did all of the training in my house because I can fit everyone in my house. So we had, 30, 40 people in my house at a time. With coronavirus stuff, maybe not the best rule of thumb to go at right now, but it will gradually get better. So I have a whole plan of how to do it. Yes, we're still going to do in-person stuff because I really believe that the coaching training, we do need to have some in-person stuff. But I've got a plan for how to do it. Coaches expect that. Coaches, we got to get those badges. We did decent this year, but I still got 3 coaches that didn't get badged. You know exactly who you are. It's an absolute no-no. We got to have those badges. Junior coaches, those of you that are interested in coaching, you got 3 goals. It's the same goals every year. Number 1 is be accountable. That means you got to communicate. You just got to tell me. You got to say stuff. You got to tell your coaches. You got to tell your advisors. You got to tell your students. You got to communicate, and that is truly problem number 1, and that is truly goal number 1. We got to be accountable. Number 2 is you got to make your teachers happy. You got to make your advisors happy, your theater teacher, whoever it is. You got to make your goal is to make them happy, and sometimes them canceling a practice is what's going to make them happy. Ugh, right? That breaks my heart, but it's a thing. So we gotta make our teachers happy. Goal number 1, be accountable. Goal number 2, make your teachers happy. And goal number 3, you can't date the students. So granted, you might be 18 and graduated, but in no human world can you turn around and date your sophomore student that you were dating, that you were with. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a significant other who is going to still be in high school after you graduate, just talk to me. There might be some weird technicality, but talk to me. You cannot date your students. Coaches, regular coaches who've been around for a while, you know your goals. Number 1 is your number 1 goal is make teachers happy. I can only imagine that the be accountable thing is something that you already do, I hope. So make your teachers happy. Teachers being happy is an absolute number 1. Number 2, your number 2 goal is build your program. Hopefully building your program involves money somehow. If you somehow find a way to make money for your theater teacher, that teacher will be super happy. If you do an improv show and charge $2 a ticket and the theater gets to make some money from those tickets, they're gonna be super happy. That's how those theater departments thrive, is on that money. And we can so easily make them money. So we just have to, we can do what we love doing. We're in 100-person Zoom because we love doing this. We can so easily just do what we love and make them some money. So build your program and make them some money. Goal number 3, well, this should really be put into goal number 2. And yeah, I'm going to update this, but badges and whatnot, communication shirts, that should all be a part of the program. Badges, communication shirts. But then of course, goal number 3, don't date your students. So that's, we know, you old coaches know, you get it. But if you're 18, 19, 20, I mean, in your brain, you might go, yeah, but they're a senior. Nope, can't happen. So that is it for all of my bullet points. Trey, you're fine. I got your question. So you asked if you're 17 when you graduate, but you don't turn 18 until you're August 9th. You're fine. But the rule still applies. Don't date the students. Yeah, does anyone have like a wrap it up kind of question? Just something that for whatever reason I didn't hit on, and we should take a second and chat about it. Kiana, go ahead.
Okay, I just got home.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so I had 2 ideas that I wanted to say for the league as a whole. Sorry, I just walked up 3 flights of stairs. Okay. So one, I think it'd be really fun if we have like the MVP award and all that stuff. But I was thinking we could have like a student voted award type thing. Like you don't like get a whole plaque or anything like that. But just like a form.
Trust me, that is definitely in a radar scenario where I've been trying to find a way to articulate that. I would really like that, and it's definitely not there. Like the how to do it and do it right and well, that kind of thing. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, even just the antivirus voting thing, that was such a mess, and you guys tore me to shreds.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a spreadsheet and thing with the Google form that like I use for school because my teachers have me do it all the time for them because they don't know how stuff works.
Sure. There's ways. I'm not worried about the calculation side of it. You're right. Like I've played with some of that stuff. It's just more so about a justifiable way of creating something and why and does it make sense and so on. So Rookie of the Year took me like 3 years to finally bring that in. So I'm happy it's here. I think it is a good award. But you're right, Kiana. I would love to do one of those. That would be great.
And then my second point was if we could have like a merchandise website. I know we probably can't like now, but like once the league grows, it's something super cool to look into because there's a lot of websites that can customize the shirts and send it out for you.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you, and this is perfect timing for this. So this is a very underutilized thing in this league, but you know, there's a highschooljesters.com. On highschooljesters.com, not only are there instructional videos for how to play the head-to-head games, where I say, hey, blah, 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 and then there's people doing games, and then you see examples of them, decent examples. But there is history, there is awards, there is information. Everything goes on the website before it ever goes anywhere else. And there's also merchandise. So you can buy a Jester's hat on the website.
I did not know that.
You can, nope, I got you, girl, but this is a great segue because I wanted to do this. The website. You can buy a hat. You can buy I've had a bunch of people ask about the Jester coats and whatnot. So you can get that on there too. But most importantly, you see this is the website. This is the desktop version, obviously,
It's
nope,
going.
there it is. This is the desktop version, but you can, if you're looking at it on your phone, you can get anything from here. So if we hover over schedule, you can see that information. You hover over schools, it will take you to.
It's
just dragging.
It's just dragging.
It takes you to standings and whatnot. If you go to history, history has the most information. Just simply you can go to MVP for now. So if you go to MVP, champions, anniversary videos, there's so many things here. So those are the 6 nominees for this year. And then you just scroll down all the way down to 2010 and you can find videos and whatnot. So the website's here. Click school login. In the top right corner, that blue link. The password is the same depending on the year, so it's 2020 Jesters. Next year, just spoiler, it'll be 2021 Jesters. Every year I just change it with the year. Log in, you can have access to all of this stuff. So there's some documents, there's written literature on games. If you click on one of the games in the bottom where it says mandatory head-to-head games, so click on 6 things, it's gonna take us to another page. And then it's, I don't know why it did that. Take us to another page, and it's going to show you a video and so on. So you can go back to us.
Cool.
So yes, that website can be totally utilized, and you should give it out. If you haven't gone through and sat through those videos, maybe those videos can actually give you some more insight that you didn't realize was there. Any other?
The website, yeah.
Yeah, highschooljesters.com. Okay, Miley, go ahead.
I had one more. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, Kiana.
It's okay. Just my quick last thing, because I like to think fun things because mine. So there was like my school did it for like it's like a t-shirt contest type thing where you design a bunch of t-shirts. So we could do like a seasonal one where it's not like it's only like a limited time or something for like championship day where like everybody wears a championship shirt or does whatever. I don't know. It could be something fun like that. It's just an idea.
Yeah, that's fun. There's some more creative things that have been presented to me like that too, that I'd like to find a way to implement. Just doing it right is the big goal. Miley, did you have something?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
At some point, because like with the corona and stuff, we've like definitely shifted gears from past town hall meetings. Are we ever gonna discuss the game list? Because I still don't think that Grand Theft Auto is a real legitimate game. Also, is it possible to order an extra small youth size jacket?
Yeah. I think we did order an extra small. But the game list, no, that's fine, because we actually normally do have at least a game list discussion. Everyone knows that, and you know what, because with the playoff talk, I think that's what has curbed some of the normal discussion. But the game list, the mandatory 16 games that every school has to know, everyone knows that there's a mandatory 16 games, right? So, and even if you didn't realize it was a mandatory 16 games, it's a mandatory 16 games that we all need to know. But I could go through the list of the games and show you. But anyway, those games are on that list for a reason. I have spent years getting to that list, and we've had more games on there from before, and we've taken games off. But that list is hard to change. Grand Theft Auto's on there for a couple of reasons. And Miley, you know, just some teams love Grand Theft Auto, some teams are like you and hate it. And that's fine. But there's a few reasons why Grand Theft Auto is on there, because most of these games have a matching game, a pairing game. So if you've ever realized why is there 6 things and sideline debate, they're a matching pairing game that do have a different emphasis. What are you doing? What else you got? They're a matching pairing game. Grand Theft Auto could fit into a matching game as well with What Are You Doing? Somewhat of a glorified What Are You Doing? Right? You can't make that face. You know, it's a very similar, it's like a team game of What Are You Doing? So Beastie Rap to Do Rap Rap, it fits. So it's the structure of it, and can we get a structure of it, and can we make it work? So it's very rare when you see a good Grand Theft Auto, right? It's very rare, but that's a goal. So I don't want to throw games away because we can't make it good, if that makes sense. I want to improve on it. Like, I would love for Grand Theft Auto to be better, but it's hard. It's really hard. It's kind of like the game, or it's kind of like hype. No one ever plays it, but I think at least as coaches, we realize that there's a little bit of value of at least getting the structure down. Just at least understanding the pattern of what hype is. That's it. There's a little bit of value in that, but that's it. Anyone else have thoughts? I mean, game list, that she opened a door on the game list idea, or any other thoughts that isn't game list? Warren, is that you telling me you want to say something? Okay. I don't know if you're just like giving me a thumbs up personally or what you were doing.
Oh, I'm doing a little bit of all of it. Hi, guys. I've probably pounded my thumbs up harder than Speedy and Christian combined, okay?
Oh.
Let me tell you what's up. Number 1, thank you everybody for being here. Number 2, yeah, I'll try to make it quick. Number 2, if we're going to take away GTA, I want to add first line, last line. It's the 3rd year in a row I've talked about it. We can add that into the webpage. We have that as a resource. Let's film in what first line, last line over the summer and put it up. I think enough kids like to play it. Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, with the passion and energy you guys put out with these tables. I know we were talking about that. Darn, I actually lost it because I'm going on 10 hours without sleep. So I don't know what my main point was going to be. But most of it was thank you, but the other half of it was adding first line, last line. And the other part of it was, never mind. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Warren and Miley are both 100% right. I get it. I think as a whole, I don't know if we can, and that's probably the closest game. Like for me, if I'm adding first line, last line, then I'm also adding a game like Continuation, you know, to try and get that kind of game in there as well. The problem with making first line, last line mandatory is that I think we're at our limit. I think 16 is like the max that I can make mandatory. And think about going into those first couple of weeks, how teams still don't know games. Like, I mean, every team got to a point, you know, come January, there's like, crap, I didn't do this game. Or the fear of when I'm standing on stage and I challenge them to a game, and then I look out at the coach, and the coach looks at the rest of their team going, oh no, I didn't teach you that yet. That just happens so many times. So 16 is really kind of like capacity. And then the other side of with first line, last line is judging. I've had it happen too many times where I've gotten in the spat with a coach about, well, who should be paired with who, and how do we judge it, and who does this and who does that. I think radio has the same complications that first line, last line do, but radio allows individuals to give their side, to where we can weigh their individual side of it, to where the other team as a pair doesn't necessarily bring down that score. And then also with the judging side of it, what I've noticed is that 100% of the time that first line, last line has gotten judged, the score has washed out. It's as if the game wasn't played in the show, if that makes sense. So it's just some weird technicality why I don't think that first line, last line should be on that list. I do think it is a good game. I do think that we should maybe find some creative ways to match up the pairings or change up the pairings to maybe we could cross that bridge, but I just don't think it's there. I don't think it's there yet.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe. Last one. I finally thought of it. I wanted to ask for next year a fun additional championship day idea. What about a show dedicated to our four-year students?
I am not anti that. I would love to find ways to add more shows just in general, like to that day. So maybe I can bat around an idea. Part of the problem with the All-Star show itself, it's hard to get 32 people in. And next year, I already know right now we're sitting at 33 for next year. We had another school commit a month ago for next year, which is kind of cool.
Hooray!
So it's hard enough to get everyone in that show. The Coaches Rumble thing I love, and I think that's something that we should offer the students all the time. So I think we learned a little bit of a lesson with the MVP thing on the 10-year thing. Last year, I think it kind of stunk that we lost that attendance with throwing that MVP show in there and changing out the coaches show and whatnot. So the formula of what we did for the 10-year anniversary didn't help as much. So I'm scared. I'm a little scared to change the successful formula of what Championship Day normally is. So the MVP show should have had 1,000 people there, right? Like we all know that. It just didn't help the attendance. So cool. Any other wrapping up thoughts? Althea, I see your little thumb again.
Okay, sorry, I thought I was going to say, and then I thought of another thing. The first one was, what are the schools that are not in, like, Jesters?
Okay, it's really only a handful, but obviously we don't have, well, the school that just joined on is Shadow Ridge. So Shadow Ridge is 100% joining us next year. But the handful of schools that are not are Foothill, Liberty, help me out, Coronado, and
West Prep.
I'm sorry, someone just said one.
West Prep.
Oh, yeah. Well, so if we're going like the like charter school route, then yeah, there are a handful more schools.
It is not a charter school.
West Prep.
West
Canyon
Preparatory
Springs
Academy.
was said.
Oh, hold on. Stay with me on West Prep.
It's Beth.
Beth, West Prep, that's a high school? What is that?
It's a high school.
She messaged me about it, that it's charter schools.
It's a charter school.
They were set up to become one, but I don't think that they did. All right, I'll get back to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there are definitely a handful of other schools like that can do it. Like if you guys remember Odyssey and whatnot. So, I mean, we can have more, but the schools with the theater programs are just easier to get into the league. But yeah, I know I'm forgetting one. Oh yeah, Canyon Springs. Canyon Springs has a theater, doesn't have a theater program, hasn't had a theater program in like 10 years. They just have an empty theater that doesn't get used. I've tried. So I've tried at all 4 or 5 of those schools, but I'm afraid I've kind of run out of I don't know. I honestly, I don't even know what to say. I know the teacher at Coronado very well, and he just flat out told me no. And unless I had a student that wanted to do it, I couldn't get it done. There's a teacher or two that just won't talk to me. They refuse to talk to me to make it happen. That's just pure honesty. All I need is a student. At Foothill last year, which Foothill has an improv team, they just wouldn't do the league. But the problem is I wasn't kind of welcomed in. I had to kind of go in and I had to find them, and I was able to find them and go to their improv practice one day and to say, hey guys, I'm Kopi. And I had no hey guys, this is Kopi. I had no way of introducing. So I think they just looked at me like, what are you doing here, creepo? So that's what I think 100% happened. And it's really unfortunate because they have an improv team. Oh my God. We all know how unfortunate it is that scenario happened. So I'm trying, once they cross the bridge, once they cross the bridge, we're going to be fine. We just got to get them to cross the bridge. So cool. Any other?
Okay, and then I had a second thing.
Yeah.
So for I don't know, but for the game list and the mandatory games, is continuation first and last time still on the game list? You can still learn it, or is it just not on the game list?
Yeah, you can learn it. Your teams and the shows that you play in, you can play them. Just the 16 games that must be played or has to be taught is the mandatory list. That's all. We need that list to get.
I just didn't see sorry.
It's fine.
The list is fine. Sorry, we keep talking over each other, and I feel bad. I'm sorry. I was just, I was just wondering, so we could still have those games on the game list. They're just not mandatory. So I just didn't see a point of trying to make them mandatory when people still play them. I didn't know first time last time wasn't mandatory because I've played it multiple times, and so I just looked at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, well, the mandatory list is helping everyone stay level. So, I mean, it's helping everyone with starting points, helping teams that don't know all the games. It's helping the league get by. If we didn't have the mandatory list, it would be a lot harder to function. But if you do want to go off list, that's fine. You just got to organize it. That's completely up to you, to the teams and the coaches and whatnot. So, any other last thoughts for us?
One last time. I know I've said it 20,000 times and I put it in the chat. If you are a senior and you want to do coaching or staff, or you want to continue doing improv at UNLV, UNR, Dixie State, or even TMCC or CSN, private message me your name, what you want to do, and your email. I know a lot of you have, and if you have, I've gotten it. But if you haven't, do that now.
Yeah, send it to her or me because she's controlling both. Jezreel, you got something?
Just one more question that I was gonna ask earlier, but I couldn't. This is not to be funny, but is there a number how many potty mouths we got this year?
We got one. We've only had one the past couple of years, so it's kind of a cool point of pride. We have it, just we've done well as a league, so kind of cool. I've actually sat in the board meetings with the state, and they've made fun of me because of the potty mouth foul. So they introduced me, hey guys, you guys remember Kopi from the Improv League and blah 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 blah. No one talk out of turn because Kopi's gonna give you a potty mouth foul, and yeah. I'm going to keep my feelings to myself. Any other? Does anyone have a thing, comment, or Jonathan? Go ahead.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I know ATEC doesn't have a theater program.
Right.
So I was wondering, are there any what other schools don't have one? because I just want to know if there's anyone I could talk to see like how they've been getting through it.
Okay. Well, so just about all the tech schools don't. So now and here's what I mean though. So SECTA and East Tech have a theater teacher. So they have an actual theater teacher. They just don't have a theater. So SECTA I've had for Mr. Ingles at SECTA is probably my oldest friend in town. So 16 years or something at this point. So he's been running strong since, and East Tech, Carrie at East Tech, the teacher, she's phenomenal as well. So Miss Fleming, that might be good to talk to, but say like Northwest doesn't have a theater program. Oh, and I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, West Tech. West Tech has a theater program as well. So Northwest doesn't have one. I need to see the map in my head to remember all the schools right now.
They're just directions, just like.
If you're just asking for someone to communicate with, email me and I'll bridge you. I'll give you communication. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah. Also, is there a way I can become a 4-year student? Because improv program kind of started a year late for me, so it was physically impossible to be one, and I'm sad about that.
I know, man. There are so many of you in the exact same boat. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, I know. It breaks my heart too sometimes. Like, even the schools that we don't have in it now, like, I'm happy we got West Tech this year and the new schools that we got, like, that's cool. But it makes me sad for all the kids that can't take advantage of this. Cool. Any other things? Alexander, go ahead.
So going back to, the thought popped in my head. I'm not trying to like circle back to it, but
we're at that
with
point.
probably becoming like a quote unquote sport, could we letter in improv?
Yes. So a lot of your schools already have things set up for that. Either it's lettering or thespian points, like from Nevada Thespians. There are different ways that you can get these things. But you have to work that out with your theater teacher.
Okay.
If you are in Jonathan's case and you don't have a theater teacher, maybe the advisor or the administrator that administers over clubs and activities. So whoever your principal is that could at least point you in the right direction, worst case scenario, if you don't have like a direct person to speak to. So yeah, absolutely. I've seen seniors who've even gotten like cords, like the graduation cords and stuff for it. So yeah, absolutely. Or Alex, you got a little thummy. Go ahead.
Hey again. Going back to the games thing and the games list. I mean, when we're thinking about games that are like continuation and first line, last line, I think the best way to approach that is if we want to play those games, I think we could get the coaches together and just teach them to each other. Because I mean, there are a ton of games that myself and a couple of the other coaches brought in to play this year that don't even show up on the list at all. So if people are interested in expand, like it seems like the big idea is that we just want to have more options. We want to have more options for the students, give some more variety for the shows. So I think the best way to do that would be to just have the coaches get together and teach the games.
You're not wrong, and part of the reason you're not wrong is because you've been here a while. So just remember starting out, just that initial side of it. And just really trying to learn them. And then if we think about it, these 16 games, like 9 out of 10 has been on the list since day one, right? So it's been on the mandatory list for going into 12 years, but we're still, we still can goof it up. 6 things in sideline. I'm glad that the plays are up. That doesn't mean like it's still amazing. So coaches, like you've heard me talk about it, like just the quality of 6 things and sidelines, a lot of times that's the time when we can go to sleep when we're watching a show. It's just the quality is just not there. So we've got plenty of room to work on. We might want to play more games, but sometimes more isn't the right answer. So I get it. You're right. I would love to show more things, but like, you know, like a dating app style game, I just can't put that game on the mandatory list, you know? That's, I mean, that is a good game, but just I can't put a dating app game on a list, right? Battleship, which I'm a huge fan of, love Battleship to death, right? But there's just some workable, tangible things that would be hard. It doesn't have a pairing game. A pairing game's important, like it just, you know what I mean? Okay. Any other?
I did have a second thing.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. Just kind of a small thing that I noticed happened this year with both of my schools is like we had a lot of growth with both my schools this year, which was awesome. But I kind of had this situation where a lot of the new students just had no desire to play in the shows. Like they would go to practices, they would play in all the games, they had a ton of fun in them, but I just could not for the life of me convince them to show up to a show.
And that is, let's me and you talk about that personally. Everyone has that, and don't think that that's weird. Every school's got these people that just can't cross over, and that's okay. Depending on who it is, sometimes I can give the old Uncle Kopi like nudge, and it might work. I mean, heck, and here, you know what? This is a good story to tell for this exact answer. A legacy student last season, not this season. Justin couldn't be there for the show, so I went backstage and we had that minute. And you know, I've only got a minute when I come backstage, and they were kind of hemming and hawing about who should be in the show. And I looked at one of the students who I knew at the time was not in a show yet. He had not done a show yet, and they were kind of talking about the 4 people that were going into the show, not including that one. So me, because I want everyone to be in a show, I went, hey, Jason hasn't been in a show yet. Let Jason be in the show. Jason looked at me with like the look of death, super angsty and whatever. But I've done that 1,000 times, and it normally works out 999 times. So Jason got on stage, did the show. And I knew that Jason's parents were there, and Jason still hadn't been in a show yet. So I was like, Jason's in the show. So Jason did the show. Jason did fine. Jason did great. I found out after the fact that Coach Justin, had promised Jason that Jason never had to be in a show. And I completely destroyed that promise. So now here's the thing. Jason, moving forward, ended up being in all the shows. Jason was there and wanted to, and he wanted to be in it. So I don't know. There has to be a little bit of us to kind of do the nudge. But a great way of possibly helping that nudge is showcases at your school. I would say Pahrump is a great example of those showcases. So I forget when they did their first showcase this year, but I don't know. I mean, let's just say it was in October. They did their first showcase. They had, I don't know, 15 people on stage for that showcase, which half of them were nervous as all heck, but it went about as good as it could have gone for a showcase. And then they did another one, and then they did another one, and it just turned. Those showcases do such wonders for the growth of a team. But let's talk more to individually, Alex. So for sure, I'm seeing so many thumbs, and hopefully the thumbs aren't necessarily confirming thumbs because we're about to hit hour 3. Okay, so Warren, go ahead. Can't hear you, Warren. You're muted.
Sorry, I'm still a rookie. With those showcases, guys, we need your help as coaches sometimes we need you guys to go to the teachers and say, hey, give us a space and a schedule. Like, we want to play. You guys need to show that you're ready to play outside of just gestures to get those reps in sometimes. And we need your help getting the attention of the teachers to give us that time. That's just my thought.
It does help. Like, not in all cases that needs to be that way. Every school is truly different, but if one or two of you just say, hey, let me, like, come on, like, normally that's all it really takes. So and they don't really have to do anything anyway, so it's your coach who runs it all. They You know what I mean? And they could make money. Why wouldn't they want to make money? Lily, go ahead.
Okay, I have two things. Number one's a question. What's the point in having like pairing games? Like, is there a reason behind like every game having on the mandatory list having a pairing game?
Yes, great question. Emphasis. So Lily, let's pretend me and you are doing a scene together. How me and you interact in our scene is going to be different than how me and Warren interact in that scene, right? So I might be able to, I might have a good idea of how I could work with you as my partner. And now, Lily, this was your third season, so I might have a good familiarity with you, but how it works with Warren is a completely different scenario. Pairing games have the same concept. Here's the best example I can give you, is how many of your teammates or students either loved To Do Rap Rap but hated Beastie Rap, or loved Beastie Rap, hated To Do Rap Rap. Why? Right? So those pairing games really truly give you a different scenario that we should digest. And some of those games are on that list purely for those reasons. To Do Rap Rap and Beastie Rap, like, they're not hard, but God, how hard is it to get your kids to dance? How hard is it to get your kids to dive masterfully? Like, to not just give up and walk away, right? So those pairing games are really important to have. Some of them don't have a direct pair. So like radio is one of the ones where it's really hard to see what the pair is. But you can see with most of those 16 games what their pairs are. Great question though. Warren, go ahead.
Thank you. The last thing I just thought of piggybacking off of that is we are starting to get a lot of students, at least in my aura, who come to me with ideas for brand new games. And they always want to forward them, and they always want to share them with you.
Yep.
Another fun idea for the future, perhaps, to do a championship day. You read all the descriptions of kids' ideas for games, and you pick one as one to try across the league.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, we could maybe find a way to incorporate that. That's not a bad idea. Creating games is one of the hardest things to do in improv, guys. One of the absolute hardest things to do. It's as hard as, you know, writing a script and whatnot, and, you know, a story, whatever. So it's difficult. I've successfully been able to do it, and I have very unsuccessfully been able to do it. So you might have ideas, and the best thing you can do is just test your ideas. But you gotta have, there's gotta be purpose. Like, hey guys, let's have a game where we all walk around and flap our wings like a duck. Like, there's gotta be something, there's gotta be more to it. Because ducks always flap their wings. That's such a duck synonymous thing. So yeah, there's gotta be a lot more to it. So for example, the game Machines, that is on our mandatory list. That is a Kopi creation. I created that. However, there are several offshoots of Machines. So there are warm-ups and whatnot of what Machines is. I created what I felt was the most show-friendly version with Machines and whatnot. So Machines is not a hard game. It kind of goes to the Grand Theft Auto idea, but we see it messed up so often. I might jump out on a ledge and say Machines might be the top 2 easiest games on our 16 game list. But gosh, we just goof it up. We goof it up all the time. Cool. Any other questions? Okay. If we got nothing, I am going to call this a day because we are at hour 3. Oh, I did see a couple of thumbs. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Sorry about that. So I was just wondering, maybe there could be like similar to what I believe Warren said. I don't want to mess up names. So basically, I could have said some wrong names. So maybe like for the mandatory list, if you had just like one game that maybe like all the collective coaches at the end of the year say like, this is one game we want to see next year that isn't on the mandatory list, just like one special game. so that like even the longer you're in the league, the more like of one special game you see instead of the same ones.
You're right. The biggest argument against that is next year when the league is run amok with freshmen and first-time coaches again. That's the problem you're running into. So you might know continuation, but when we still got to teach 6 things to all these freshmen, continuation's just kind of got to wait. I'm a big fan of continuation, but 6 things has got to get out there. Like, you know what I mean? So that's actually a really good idea. That you're making me want to consider that one. Yeah, that's a really good thought.
Because I was mostly thinking that like it doesn't have to be one of the mandatory ones, but at least like later, because sometimes they're the coaches that are just like, oh, I know that coach. I know they know that game. So maybe tack this on later in the year.
Yeah, I don't have it. I know I have it, but I told you there was 47 team choice games. I should have written down how many head-to-heads there were this year because there's 16 mandatory, but I'm sure there were 35, you know, because of all the random other games they're played. So something like that. But there's more. There's definitely more.
Thanks for this meeting, by the way. This is like real helpful to catch everything up.
I needed timing was the key here, so I couldn't have done it 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't have waited any longer than I did because we were definitely at the too long point. So yeah, no problem at all. Christian, is that a thing?
While everybody's here, I know we were talking about showcases and how they're really beneficial to the Jesters League. And if you guys are having showcases, please tell Del Sol about it, because like I'll try to encourage everybody to go and stuff. And like if you guys need collaboration, I'm down. And also Lily had something to say because I saw she had a thumbs up.
Well, and here, that's just one of the very many things we as a league could do better, and that's announcing showcases. So I know last year we even said it in this exact meeting, hey, let's tell Kopi when all the showcases are. So it blew my mind when I would get a text at 2 in the afternoon saying, hey, we have a showcase at 5. Can you post it on? It's like, what? Come on. So yeah, we as a whole really struggled on that one. So some of you did fine, like seriously, some of you did just fine with that information, and then the rest, some of us did not. So yeah, I agree. Lily, did you have something Christian said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so showcases. One thing, I don't know if Jacob's still on here, Evan, but my team, something I did for an IB project is I actually hosted my own show with my team. And
I so encourage that stuff.
I set everything up, like, to the point where I came to Sydney, and I was like, well, it's kind of, student ran, and she's like, okay, go, just do your own thing. So it's the point where, and like, you didn't, you ended up not being able to come, but we ended up, we didn't get as many people from like other schools just because I think the timings ended up being like the week before like winter break, not winter break, Thanksgiving break, but we ended up actually getting like money that went to our theater program, and it kind of got like our name out there. So, and it was all student ran, so I'm proud of that.
And you should be, but there's only a few people from other schools that could possibly make a trip to your showcase.
Yeah.
So your goal,
we're like clear across town.
Right, but your goal should be people at your school.
Yeah,
I talk about this all the time, and you old Palo teams, just there was a point with the old Palo team where they were doing minimum 5 showcases a year. They were getting minimum of 100 people in there. They had their own existence. They didn't need Jesters to exist. It just, I mean, Jesters just made it even cooler. It was just made the experience even better. And so if you do the math on that, if they're getting 100 people a show, and even if they're only charging $3 tickets, they're doing $5 and $7 tickets. They created a thing. You can all do that, and your teachers are going to be happy. Your kids are going to, your friends at school are going to go to your show and watch your shows because it's just fun, because of the atmosphere. We've all been to the Jester shows where there's nobody there, and yeah, it's fun, but it's way better when that crowd is there, right? And the more shows you do, the more things you can do where you do where like Lily hosts or whatever. If you've never done a showcase, highly recommend you call me or Roman or your coach hosts it. Highly recommend that on your very first. I can't say that enough. But once you lay that groundwork, it's so much easier. Paramp, I came and hosted your first show this year, and then you just kind of took off with it and just showcased your little faces off. So highly recommend getting your coach or like me or what. Warren is also a host. Warren's an excellent host. He can host for you. But we have Josh now, and there's a bunch of us. So, but yeah.
Sorry to piggyback on that for just 6 seconds, but I would honestly love the chance to host at your school. I love coming to watch you guys play. I even more enjoy giving you your suggestions and having some fun. So please, never hesitate to ask me for nothing.
Yep. Cool. Any other final? Corey, yes.
Corey has a thing. Okay, I know I said it 10,000 times. You can also send it to me, but since we are going to wrap up, any coaches that are in here, or even any of the students that are still in here, if you know of any seniors who fit the criteria of they want to coach, they want to be a staff, they want to do improv in college, tell them either they can DM me, they can DM the Jesters improv page on Instagram, they can email Kopi at justserendipity.com. Like,
hey,
even if you don't, even if they're not here and you know that, please get that information to us, or like tell your team that is a thing that they can do, and if there are other people that want to do it, because I don't want people to miss out just because they didn't end up getting into this Zoom call.
I'm gonna do my best to try and post a 3-hour Zoom meeting to YouTube now. Any other questions?
I have one quick comment, but it's not like a question. I had a question, but I forgot it.
Yeah.
So quick thing for like, if you are trying to have a showcase, but you're worried about people not showing up, because I know I was. I have a bunch of teachers who said they will have extra credit for their classes if they show up, and they bring like a ticket or a selfie with somebody. So that's like a super easy way to do it. Everybody likes extra credit, so that's just one thing, suggestion.
Yep. So many reasons why showcases are such a good idea, guys. So many reasons. Any other? Any go once, come twice. Cool. Oh, Mallory, go ahead.
Hi, I'm sorry, but to piggyback off of what the showcases, Paramp actually made our showcases free for everyone, so that was good, so that they didn't really have to pay, but we accepted donations, but we never got any. But we just accepted free and with the donations, so that's a good thing that you can do.
If you want to try the donation side of it, like I've seen that before, but you also have to put it out there. Like if you do the donation things, someone's got to get up there and just have the good gift of gab and just say, hey man, like this stuff costs money. Like if you're enjoying yourself and it was worth $1 to you to come here, like let's do. You gotta put it out there. I've definitely seen that. And you know what? This is something I learned a long time ago. There's 127 shows on the Las Vegas Strip here in Las Vegas. At every single point during every single show, someone or something or some video or advertisement stops everything and gives some sort of buy my merchandise, donate to my foundation, buy my CD, but it comes out to every single one of them, every single show. So yeah, with the donation thing, yeah, you gotta ask it hard if you're gonna do the donation side. Is there any other? Okay, cool guys. I'm shocked we got this many people to stick on for this long. I'm gonna let you go bye-bye. Coaches, expect a ton of information from me. We have one more award to vote for come Wednesday, so I will send that out on Wednesday, and I will talk to you all later.
Bye.
It
was nice seeing you.
Bye, everybody.
I love
you. Oh my God.
I thought that meeting was never gonna